Matt Hardy. Thank you for watching the Gimme a Whole Year Wrestling Podcast.
Hello and a very warm welcome to the Gimme a Whole Year Wrestling Podcast. My name is Ann, and as the description says in the video, we are going to be joined by Dan in about 1 minute as I just set all this up live. Thank you so much for enjoying us. We are getting a banger of an opening match. It is Fenix coming out right now. The match was, I wrote it in the description actually, but I can't remember exactly who it was. Hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for joining us. Sorry, just trying to set this up at the same time as doing this. And in 3, 2, 1, we're going to be joined by my dude, Dan.
Hello.
Hello. Lovely to see you, mate.
And you.
Thank you
I'm
so
just
much
trying to
for
set
joining
up
us.
Fight TV as well at the moment.
Are you? Right. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Great first match, by the way. It's Fenix versus Matt Jackson.
Yeah, this is going to be incredible.
It's going to be awesome, isn't it? And
I hope that means that next week we get Pac against Nick Jackson.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I hope that that's the direction that they're going. I hope that we're just not going straight to, like this is the only singles match,
Yeah, that'd be cool. I would be down with that, my dude. We've got a few people in chat. We've got Jackie Boy, we've got Danny Hargreaves, we've got Jeff, we've got Joey, hello. Alan's joined us, Blackheart Jared Reed, hello, everyone. Lovely to see you all. This is Dan, he's from Pro Wrestling Eve. We do watch-alongs of him regularly on a Wednesday. All the links for that are in the description. Come and hang out and watch some awesome wrestling.
I'm pretty much a Wednesday regular now.
You're becoming a Wednesday regular, yeah. But
I'm digging AEW. AEW got me, bro. AEW got me.
They're great, aren't they? They're great. Yeah. Absolutely great. So
and look at this, we're how long? 2 minutes in and the match has already started. They don't F around.
Don't dick about. No, absolutely not. I completely agree, man. And that's what makes it really exciting. I mean, you was quite regularly doing SmackDown live streams with us.
They were on a good run and then they fucked it up.
Yeah, they certainly did. Yeah, and we're not 5 minutes in.
Fucked it up.
Greetings, Joey. Greetings, Jeff. What's on? Lovely to see you both. Lovely to see you both. Did you all enjoy Revolution? Let's hear about Revolution from you all. Just want to add one more thing on the Punk thing. He was one of the wrestlers that got me interested in the first place. Him and Sheamus. I'm the biggest Punk mark ever, but I've just accepted he will not return. Nice, man. Danny, lovely to see you, mate. No matter what, the explanation is going to suck. Yeah. I mean, I'm intrigued. Dan, what do you think?
The bottom line is they sold it.
Yeah, and that's a problem, isn't it?
That's the problem. There was no one there to say, they couldn't see it. They could hear it, but, they couldn't see it, obviously, but there was no one there to really just go, call an audible to them because no one had an earpiece. Yeah. There was no one there with an earpiece there.
Yeah. So, mad. But you're right, that medic could have said something, but again, no earpiece. And, they learn by the mistakes, but Jesus.
Dare to be different, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dare to be different.
Yeah.
And that's what AEW do.
And that's what keeps us intrigued.
Do you know what? I think people are ridiculous when it comes to how much grief they give AEW whenever they dare to be different. The one thing I think we're all agreement on is they'd have been better off not saying they had another announcement, a major announcement and a major signing.
No,
they'd have been
I agree.
Much better off if they hadn't have done that and they'd have just had a surprise with Christian. Because I feel bad for Christian because I honestly do believe that Christian is one of the best workers of the past 2 decades.
Wow.
But in my mind, he is also one of the most underutilized, underappreciated, undervalued professional wrestlers of the last 20 years. WWE's treatment of him, in my opinion, and one can say, well, he's a former world champion. Yeah, but was he really?
It was a very bad time in wrestling as well. They didn't have as many people watching at that point either.
To me, it's just...
that arm drag jumping over the top rope. Man, already this is awesome. Sorry, Dan.
No.
Kick to the face.
It's all the dives.
Jesus. But it feels like dives with intention, man. I like Revolution. Yeah. Lol on the ending. Revolution was good until the last 2 minutes. I enjoyed 99% of Revolution. Raymond says, "Oh yeah, hi and hi Dan from Wichita, Kansas, I believe. Was beginning to think he wasn't having chat. Had to leave YouTube and come back. Cool, man. Well, welcome, Raymond. Hope you're having a good time and enjoyed the Eve stream. That was awesome." Revolution was on a 10 until the botch at the end. Impact helping Omega make him look a stronger heel by being dirty by himself, not with help overall. A 4 because of the end of the match. Right. Wow. changed a lot. Revolution was mostly WrestleMania 17 level of quality, but it will tragically be remembered for the damp squib. As I told Sarah, it was like a brilliant night out, and then you meet an absolute says Jack.
Yeah, agreed. And the thing is as a promoter myself, and I've promoted events in front of hardly anyone, and I've promoted events in front of 3,500 people. And the rules stay the same no matter what.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is, the thing that people go home talking about is the last thing they see. No matter how good everything else has been, that last thing, that will be the thing that is remembered.
Yeah.
And that is such a tragedy because, even the buy-in with Maki Itoh as the surprise was fantastic.
Lovely.
And then the Jericho and MJF versus the Young Bucks tag match was just freaking outstanding.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that is possibly, I don't know if it's the best match of 2021 so far, but I definitely feel that tag match is in the talking of being one of the best matches of 2021 so far.
I'd agree. The
rest of the show was outstanding. If anything, my biggest complaint that I had through the night was that there was just so much good content that I was knackered. Early on, and I had to take myself outside to wake myself up and rest my eyes a couple of times.
I agree, man.
It was a lot of incredible content, and then the main event was outstanding, except for the thing that's going to be remembered. And hey, I've taken the mick out of it too. I put a video up on YouTube of a time limit draw, but as it hit 0, I
boom.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw your even in your Eve stream on Monday, you had the effects added to the table.
It's to the table spot.
It's hilarious. Yeah. Jeremy says Revolution sucked. Jeremy didn't enjoy Revolution. Jack says a beautiful person. To go back to yours, it gets steamy, and while you're on top, they have an accident on you. Fantastic, Jack. What a wonderful analogy. WrestleMania 17 quality, Jack. That's a bit too high for me, but it was awesome. But having said that, I paid 20 quid. I got more than my money's worth by Chris Jericho and MJF tag. That's how I feel.
Agreed.
How does Raw have more ring pyro than an AEW deathmatch exploding ring?
Cody has more ring pyro.
Yeah.
Cody has more ring pyro than Raw. But Raw don't have any pyro, so that's what he's I'm guessing his joke is, right?
Well,
Raw
does. Yeah, they do now. Yeah, ever since AEW started, WWE brought back pyro because AEW do the nice simple pyro on the thing, and WWE do a wonderful production of it. But they stopped for a few years because of costing too much. And being someone that works as a pyrotechnician, I know the cost of pyro, and let me tell you, WWE are making more than enough money to have pyro.
I know. I've used pyro on some Eve shows, usually for things like Wrestle Queendom. It is very expensive, but WWE do make enough money to
more than
do
enough
that.
money. Yeah, of course.
It's WWE suddenly taking the Asda approach of every little helps, I guess. Or Walmart for our friends in the States.
There we go. It's not the Waitrose.
Not the Waitrose, no.
Sitting back in the center of the ring, but very quickly gets to the rope, not messing about
pause. Here. I think you're like 2 seconds ahead of me.
Okay, 1, 2, there we go. Jeremy LMAO, Christian's return itself makes it good for me, and Kenny versus Mox was amazing. Even Cornette said the start of the match was actually really good and made sense. Such a WWE fan. He is. Our Jeremy's a WWE fan, but that's all good. It takes we have a broad community of fans in the in our streams, and Jeremy's just got his wife pregnant.
Well done, Jeremy. You got some fine swimmers there.
It works. Cool. Hey, you. Hello, Jamel. Lovely to see you out there in the hall, breaking bottles against the wall. Can you hear me? We certainly can, Jamel. Lovely to see you, my dude. Hope all is well. The kick, yeah. Like the way they just use each other's bodies, man.
He's just so good at adding extra little details to make even the simplest of things mean so much more.
Raymond says Christian isn't going to make a big difference in AEW overall. Yes, he's a great wrestler, but Tony Khan let us down when it was Christian.
I don't think he let it down. What it was is this is the thing. I actually think. Well, there's two assets. Yes, they shouldn't have done it that way.
But then did people buy the pay-per-view for that?
Yeah, but then the thing is, there's short-term
Nice.
impact, very long-term effect.
Mm.
The one thing you should always do is under-promise and over-deliver. That's the big rule to promoting.
Mm.
I did shows where here's the thing, like, we're based in the UK. Whenever we bring in someone from outside the UK, that costs a lot of money because it's not like a local flight. That is an international flight. And on the top of that, you're talking, the hotels are for extra days because you can't just fly them in, have them land in the morning, work the show and then fly them back home that night. They're over here for a fair few days.
Yeah, of course.
That also means that you generally have to pay, more money because, they're losing extra days' work by flying and things of that nature. Even so, I would still do surprises at times, that could be major. Like the first time that Su Yung ever appeared in Eve, she was a surprise. I remember when the video screen came up, people thought that it was a tease for the future, and the next thing they know, she's coming down the entranceway. So you got like a double pop.
Yeah.
And that was a major thing because, going into it, people were like, this show is going to be, incredible. But that detail of Su Yung coming out, meant that people left just raving.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a completely different way because they were hyped in a whole different way. And the problem, I actually think fans were dicks. The ones who are saying, unless it's Brock, it's a letdown. It's like, you guys are probably just as dickish as Vince McMahon for how he treated Christian.
Yeah.
Because it means that what you're saying is you don't think that Christian's any good. You don't think that anything Christian does matters. Oh, my word. So good. And I find that Canadian problematic, destroyer. Person. I think that really says a lot of the problems with Jesus, the Canadian destroyer.
On the outside as well.
On the outside as well, right? That's a, crime. Oh, man.
Rick Knox is in the ring. Jeff and Joey. That means we're getting some dodgy finish. You can't control that ring.
Going back to what I was just saying, it's just you knew full well it weren't going to be Brock. It doesn't matter who else it would have been. The Christian, like people said, it could have been Kurt. I am far more excited to see Christian than I am Kurt because we saw Kurt was wrestling like at the end there, and his body is absolutely wrecked.
Yeah.
Christian hasn't wrestled in a number of years, and when we saw him at the Rumble, he looked great.
Yeah. It's amazing. WWE just did a massive favor for AEW by making the announcer be one of the most exciting things of the Rumble. We was all marking out for that, Dan.
The key thing was he outworked everyone. He Pillmaned them. He Brian Pillmaned them. He got them to put them on pay-per-view, their second biggest pay-per-view of the year, and then he went off to AEW. How do you think Vince handled that? Vince would not have been happy.
No.
Vince would have been furious. That's what I mean. He literally Pillmaned them. Not since Brian Pillman have we seen anything like that. I guess you could say Lex Luger, which was in the same time frame as Brian Pillman. But Brian Pillman actually convinced WCW to let him go of his contract so that he could then, sign somewhere else. But he told them he wouldn't, and it was just all storyline to make it all real.
Yeah.
But that's what he did. In this situation, the Lex Luger thing was an arrogance level or just a trust because they had a handshake deal more than anything, I guess. Whatever the reason, the fact of the matter is that outwork everyone, that is exactly what Christian did.
Well, yeah, and hopefully, and it remains to be seen, but I guess people will get to see what Christian's going to bring to AEW, and I'm excited. I think him versus Omega will be awesome. Yeah. Black Hat Jared Reed, look at wrestling shows as magic shows. Last trick should be the thing that sends the fans happy home. And have you any word on Zelina Vega? I can't remember her real name. Just asking if she might have reached out to Eve and heard if she's thinking about it. There we go. You couldn't tell us anyway, really. It spoiled the surprise.
No, I mean, it's more, I'm trying to think, because part of me thinks the answer is yes. Another part of me's thinking the answer is no. I can't remember exactly, because here's the situation right now. Like, Shal Guerrero reached out to me recently,
right.
But it's just a case of, like, no one can travel right now. And she put that in the email. She's like, I know no one can travel right now, but, like, I'd love to work with you guys when things go, oh, my Lord.
Good God. What a beautiful sequence. Sorry, Dan. I'm just
No,
orgasming
this is
while.
so good. We got like this match has only been going for like 13 minutes, 14 minutes, and it
Yeah.
feels like we've got like half an hour. Like this is incredible
Yeah.
because this is how you start. Like first impressions are so important, but also there's another aspect which is TV ratings. You know,
Yeah.
you have to set things up. That opening match sets the tone for everything else.
Yeah.
And it's important to get people watching straight away. And the Young Bucks draw viewers.
Yeah.
Like the Young Bucks are consistently in million plus segments.
Right.
So anyone that want to say that unless you make it to WWE, you're not a star.
Yeah,
You know?
no. Oh, double kicks, taking them both out. Oh, Matt's got that injured leg though.
Oh, mate, can you pause it for 2 seconds again?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Oh, picking him up. Going with the power driver. No, reversal. Going up on top. Up on top of his... Oh!
Now we're in sync.
Goodness gracious. And he gets a win with it.
Yeah, man,
Nice. Jeremy asked a good question. He says, Dan, how much does Pyro cost if it's okay to ask?
It depends on what you're going for, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, I suppose the Wrestle Kingdom. I mean, I spent thousands on the Wrestle Kingdom 3.
There you go, Jeremy.
So...
I haven't seen the Wrestle Kingdom 3, so... it also depends what company you use, how safe
how much you're using as well.
Yeah. I would assume by AEW's setup that they've actually bought the boxes.
Absolutely.
All they're doing is refilling the cartridges, and it's not the cartridges that are expensive. When Dan hired them from me, it'll have been from a company that'll.
Right.
Sorry, I'm just presuming, but I know really.
That's right. You're absolutely right. And I think I say thousands. I think it was less than 2, but it was over 1. You know.
There you go. So yeah, and like I say, WWE are the same. They own their own pyrotechnician crew. You know. It's a lot cheaper than hiring from an external company, so it doesn't necessarily relate, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Dan's got to pay for time of people to set it up. Someone like me.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not owning all of the things themselves.
Yeah.
One thing I do think, actually, just because we'll see, it says we'll hear from Christian Cage tonight. One thing I do think AEW need to do is sort out the names. Because Christian Cage and Brian Cage, you know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm old-fashioned, but that to me is a problem. Like, there are literally reasons why, you know, I've actually had talent change their names on Eve shows, because their name is the same as somebody else. Oh, here we go.
Sorry. Saying it was. Sorry, just really interested to see how they deal with this.
Right now, we've got Eddie Kingston and John Moxley on screen, and this is how we're gonna. I guess this will be the reason.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good. Blame it on Impact. And an explosive match. By the way, the t-shirt's awesome. There we go. These are getting the tag belts done.
No, man. Here's the thing. That was just so. I think it's what he's inside.
Sorry, Dan, I can't hear you. Sorry, say again.
Chemistry.
Yeah. Wow. Dan, really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I did too. That was a wicked promo. The chemistry between Moxley and Kingston. Like, at the end of the day, right, the bottom line is they can only do their best with what they got when it comes to explaining that.
Yeah.
The bottom line is, you can't turn back time. You got to move forward, and that's what they're doing. They're moving forward. They're going to do their best to tell their version of the story. And when you got two guys with that kind of chemistry telling those stories and seemingly setting up now them two and the Good Brothers, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And I think that's great for Moxley. Oh yeah. I think that's great for Moxley as well because, like, first of all, the chemistry was wonderful. Second of all, it'd be nice to see him in that tag team with Kingston. I think that'd be really fun, and I can definitely see them at the top of the tag division. Definitely. Yeah. And it makes sense, you use your big guys in positions like that, put the belts on them at the pay-per-views. Done. Congratulations on the sex, says people. TNT app is bad.
Hey, Janelle Jackson, thanks for joining.
Hey, Janelle, how you doing? Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you could like the video, it really helps us out. Lets people more see it. Sharing is caring. So share it out on Twitter. Send the link out to people. Hashtag AEW Dynamite, as well as Eve Pro Wrestling, and Gimme a Whole Yeah. Let's get
Pro Wrestling
people
Eve, that one works as well. Eve Pro Wrestling won't work, but Pro Wrestling Eve will.
Thanks for correcting me, love. Talk about Wrestling My Eyes.
It's only been about 3 months.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's all right. I'll learn your name one day. I'll learn how to spell it.
I know, right?
Talk about Wrestling My Eyes. Will this match ever end? Really? I really enjoyed it, Raymond. Waiting for Knox to look completely helpless.
Horses for courses.
Yeah, absolutely. A Canadian destroyer, then he stands up and hits it again outside. You see, that's the problem. AEW problem. I can understand why you wouldn't enjoy that, Jeremy. I can understand how you want everything to be impactful. I enjoy the fast pace of wrestling.
Same. The thing is, I see the arguments, but at the same time, I also see the counter arguments.
Yeah.
And the one thing I can tell you is, as someone that runs shows, in a change in society, the fact is, this is a business based on reaction, and selling is the most important. But it also depends on who your audience is.
Yeah.
And those are the matches. I've put on matches where they've sold. They've made the smaller moves look like death. And I've put on matches where they've killed each other with Canadian destroyers off the top rope.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is there is something for everyone, but you absolutely have to have that something for everyone. And that's just the bottom line, like there's no one way does it. You just have to mix it all up. And another factor is this. It's up to the wrestlers to tell the story as well as to how good they are at hitting a specific move. But it's also, what's the point of, having like a normal DDT? Like, here's Alexa Bliss. I really like Alexa Bliss.
I think she's great, yeah.
But that DDT finish when they're on their knees already, they do bigger moves than that in the match before that's the finish. And then you're just like, okay, well, they need to do smaller moves than that. Well, the problem is that DDT where the opponent's on the knees doesn't particularly look impressive. It makes sense logically, but you have to, this is the thing about wrestling. You have to balance out what looks good and what makes sense, because here's the thing. Throwing your opponent into the ropes for them to bounce back does not make sense. But we accept it in wrestling.
Yeah.
So I find it hard when it's just people like, I understand why, and people, you do you, but like, if we're going to complain about, certain, moves, then we might as well also complain about Irish whips into ropes and people coming back,
Well, it's a bit like you said in one of your live. Sorry to cut you off. It's a bit like you said in one of your live streams about the elbow being a move that you really like in wrestling because people know how a punch feels, and
Yes.
you can't react to a punch realistically in wrestling because if you've ever been punched, you end up on the floor, but nobody knows what an elbow feels like. Do you know what I mean?
No.
And I thought that was a really great analogy you made before.
Well, the thing is I think I told the story about how we got banned from a venue, didn't I?
Oh, I don't know, but do feel free to share.
So how we got banned from a venue was we did a death match in here, and they had no problem with the barbed wire. They had no problem with the drawing pins. They had a problem with the scissors.
Right.
And the reason why they had a problem with the scissors is that scissors are normal household items.
Yeah, right.
That you see, and you know what scissors can do.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of have an idea, even though you don't do it, you know what scissors can do. You have a familiarity with them. You have more of an understanding of the dangers of scissors.
Mm-hmm.
The barbed wire baseball bats and everything seems so outrageous and over the top that it doesn't have that same effect.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't have a problem with us using the barbed wire. They didn't have a problem with us using the thumbtacks. They had a problem with the scissors, and it was the scissors. Even though the scissors was the safest bump of everything,
right,
was the scissors bump.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the thing that got us banned because of the familiarity, and it makes logical sense. And that's the same thing when I talk about the reason why I hate punches in wrestling. That is one thing that I do lose my shit about.
Yeah,
because hey, the Davey Boy Smith British Bulldog running power slam. I'm never gonna not pop to seeing it. Or the Warlord running power slam.
Yeah,
the Warlord.
He did, yeah.
But a punch. Most of us, maybe not all of us, but most of us know what a punch feels like.
Yeah.
Most of us know what a punch is like and the damage that a punch can do. And if we're gonna punch someone and that person just looks at us, chances are, if we punch them a few more times, our hand's going to be broken.
Yeah.
And if we've broken our hand over someone's face and they just look at you and are prepared to just carry on fighting, we know we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Wrestling has that.
Yeah.
That's an issue. But with a forearm, how many of you in a fight have actually thrown a forearm? Probably not many.
No.
So that's a desensitized thing there. We don't know what that forearm feels like, except for what they show us.
There we go.
So that's
the selling of it. Yeah. No, yeah. I completely agree, man. Completely agree. And it was a really good point when you made it. Is Shivoni's microphone not working? A lot of mixed reviews on that first match.
Pal.
Good way to get back onto the right foot after the dud ending. Go back to the bread and butter great ring action. This match is a Kurt and JK. I assume they use the Canadian Destroyer so much because it's virtually banned in WWE. Yeah, pile drivers as well. I love seeing pile drivers. It's such an old move. His shoulder obviously was that awful injury angle.
How much would a Eve chair cost me? Well, I don't know. It's funny you say that. Literally came about a bunch of I've got legitimately the chairs from the Eve shows in the other room. Oh, hold on.
Penta, who was on Spanish commentary.
I'll come back to you guys if you don't mind. We've got an angle going on with Penta and Cody Rhodes. This is going to be interesting because Penta, of course, is a babyface as part of Death Triangle. But I think we both know that Penta is at his best when he's a villain, shall we say, when it comes to the character work.
Absolutely. I'd love to see them use Penta more. Really would.
I've worked with Penta, as you know.
Yeah.
When he worked for me, there was a different level of natural charisma.
Right.
But when he made his entrance, even though a lot of people in the building didn't know who Penta was, they felt something special.
Yeah.
They had a reaction to him.
Yeah. But you can see it now, and we haven't really seen that in AEW so far.
Yeah. But the thing is, how does this affect Death Triangle? But then again, AEW is very good at blurring lines. Not everybody needs to be a villain. Not everybody needs to be a hero.
As long as there's reasons.
Yeah, exactly. In life, two good people might not get on. Although he's acting very villainous.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Penta does speak English. I know that.
I'm down for this, Dan.
This is the thing. He does that shoulder breaker move. Where the idea is that he breaks the arm and shoulder.
He won't be able to pick up his newborn baby girl. Bring it personal, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, does feel a bit forced. Like, I'd like to have there been another. I mean, maybe there was, and I don't remember. I didn't particularly care for the ladder match so much, personally. Again, I just had a desensitized from that match, and I'm like that with most multiple person ladder matches. To be honest, it's a thing. Doesn't matter who the company is. But I'd like for there to have been something, or maybe there was something between Cody and Penta in the ladder for them to pull back on, which is why Penta's upset at Cody. Was Cody the reason that Penta didn't win? Was Penta about to win when Cody came back?
Was it Penta that sent Cody out? I can't remember though.
I think it might have been, but the thing is, he sent him out, but in order for him to then pick on Cody needs to have done something to antagonize Penta. So, that's my take on that. Is like if Penta was about to win when Cody made his comeback,
then
Cody cost Penta. Then it makes sense that Penta's just like.
But if that did happen, taken out of the match,
so I wasn't focused on you. Now you come back.
Yeah.
Just that little detail, and then he can get personal.
Yeah. No, they just need. If that did happen, Dan, I don't remember it, and they need to show us it.
Exactly, and I didn't hear it referenced. Now,
no,
we were talking at times, so maybe it was referenced briefly, but I don't think it was, and I don't know if that moment happened.
Mox and Kenny feud isn't over. Many, many more matches, says Raymond. Chef Kiss promo. I really enjoyed it. I thought they did the job they could with that. If I wanted a chair for me, you've answered that. Eddie is the promo king. Would love to see him do a podcast. I could listen to him talk all day, said Joey. Yeah, man. John Raymond, welcome, my dude. Hope you're having a good day. Louis N, we see you in the Eve streams quite a lot. I like how they're blaming Kenny in kayfabe. I didn't, but they did a much better job of Tony Khan or John Moxley straight out of the ring saying it. Yeah, Joey Eddie Kingston is the most believable promo out there today. He lives it. He does. Louis, yeah, it's amazing taking wrestling back to the old days. Yeah, man. The problem with the finish is how Kingston and Mox sold it. If they did not sell it, it would have been fine. Yes, but they had to, because ultimately Kingston threw his body over Moxley and heard a load of bangs go off with his head down and assumed everything had gone okay.
They had no one to tell them. No. The thing is, they had no director to tell them to change it.
Yeah.
That medic. That's a problem.
Yeah.
There was nothing really they could done, because why would they have had an earpiece, and why would anyone else around them had an earpiece? Or do you know what I mean?
Another week, another Jobber versus Rhodes match. Yeah, I'm glad it was a quick match. It's it was fine. It did what it needed to do.
He's legit injured. What more can he do? And they're trying to,
Is he legit injured?
Yeah, he's legit injured.
Right. And in the time it took me to type that the match is over, I may not be watching AEW much longer. That's fair enough, Raymond. Sometimes it's not for everyone.
Not everything is for everyone.
Absolutely not. I've enjoyed this stuff. That's all I wanted it to be, because I was only interested in the Penta promo.
Yeah.
I've thrown a forearm in a fight at school, then again I've also stomped my foot simultaneously to make it sound tougher. Ended with a brawl in the back. Jesus, Jack. Oh, I was the king of the playground, says Jack. I would just get somebody on the ground and keep them there, or let them beat me up and laugh and say they hit like a 5-year-old. If somebody tried anything in school, but I would avoid fights. Good. We shouldn't all be fighting, by the way. Jobber Swarm. Yes, they did. The Jobber Swarm army came in like bees to separate Cody and Penta. Penta and Rhodes feud just started on Sunday, was the beginning of it. Yes, I don't really remember enough about the match to sort of...
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem when you've got like so many people.
Good matches.
Well, also so many people in a ladder match.
Yeah.
You kind of need to, if there's going to be a major angle or something coming out of it, you kind of need it to be one thing to do the major angle. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise it's just going to be too much for people to remember.
Mm-hmm. And
you can do a couple of little details for other people to come back as long as you've got the clips to show. Yeah. But if you're going to come out, like, you kind of need one major thing that's right at the front of people's mind.
But Dan, you've also got like we talked about how good a job they did with that battle royale and giving it space to breathe and that sort of stuff as well. You know, so they can have multi-person matches where they do that. I feel that the ladder match just didn't do that.
Yeah, I didn't connect to the ladder match mentioned before.
But I was too smart to slap my thigh. Well, Vince would love you right now. Agreed, Luann. Hello, Jenna. How are you doing? Lovely to see you. It's Stein. Right, while he makes his entrance, I'm off the toilet. Dan, sing us a song. Don't sing a song, because I'll get a copyright strike.
Oh, it depends on what song I sang, surely.
Anything with non-copyrighted material. You know that because you're using it for Eve streams all the time.
Yeah, I don't know any of the lyrics. Yeah, go do your business before Sting gets out and points his bat at someone.
Oh, hang on, no, I can't miss it.
Oh, he ain't got a bat.
He's not going in the ring. Good, we're getting it done. Let's see what he's going to say. What a street fight!
I actually enjoyed that street fight.
Yeah, I thought it was all right.
The only thing I could have done without was the music. I didn't feel the music was required.
Yeah, I thought it was a little too directed, but that was my only issue. Putting over Darby Allin. There we go.
Hello, Jenna Holden. I recognise that name. When I know,
I was in Jenna on the stream before. Hello.
Yeah, I was going to say I recognise. Jamin Rizzo, AEW's redeemable team. Happy they're bouncing back strong. Rev was a solid pay-per-view still. Yeah, you watched that without that ending angle.
We really enjoyed it. I mean, you can go back and watch our reaction. Did you see our reaction I put on YouTube, Dan?
No, I didn't.
I put our reaction of the pyro pop.
We're getting Lance Archer. You know what? There's a history between Jake Roberts and Sting. They feuded over the WCW Championship back in 1992. Had the infamous spin the wheel, make the deal, coal miner's glove match at Halloween Havoc 92.
Wow.
So there's a history there to play.
Yeah,
they can play off. Now, yes, it's a long time ago. Yes, WWE own the footage, but it's okay.
Yeah, we accept it. You can reference it.
Yeah,
Dan
and Jake cutting promos against Sting.
Fine,
I can deal with that.
Entertaining.
I can dig that.
The one thing I'd say, Dan, is why are we getting Lance Archer, who's been a sort of perennial face for a while, suddenly going against Sting? That scares me.
No, we spoke over we were talking over the promo, so I'd have to go back to hear what the dealio was. But maybe something to do with Jake in there and that history.
It's just a little bit, yeah. And I don't know if Lance needs that loss either.
Who's to say he'll lose?
Nope, let's hope not. Right, I'll be back in a second because
I'll answer the questions that I didn't answer earlier, which is yes, I actually happened to when I was going through some of the Eve items from the Resgal that I had to bring out recently. I brought a number of the Eve chairs, which of course have been used as weapons in the Eve matches, and I did think these would make pretty cool collector's items for people. I don't know how I'll go about doing it because I found a few other things as well, which I have here because I need to sort them. But I found some really cool items that I've only got like a few things left of. So I've only got like specific sizes. But if anyone watches the Choco Pro live streams or Choco Pro Wrestling, you'll often see Emi Sakura wearing that. So look at me doing a bit of promo work there. I feel like what's his face from TNA years ago, but it's from the first she won, and it's the same thing that you can see behind me because these are the banners, and on the back it's got the list of all the wrestlers. So I found like a couple of them and some Wrestle Queendom 1 and 2 t-shirts, only a couple, and a couple of the programs as well. So I was going to stick them up, but I don't know where yet. But we'll have a few like really cool Eve collectibles, available that won't be reprinted, and they're from the originals. Like I say, I'm amazed that I'm glad that a few things managed to get put into the wrong places that I've found several years later. Because like this is, and the thing is, like you look at the back, this is the people from like the first she won, and it's a who's who, right? You're talking, so she won Ace of Eve, and it's the same image as what's behind me. You've got Kaylee Ray, Nicole Matthews, Nina Samuels, Charlie Morgan, Emi Sakura, Mako Satomura, Jetta, Viper Piper Niven, Laura Di Matteo, Session Moth Martina, Eve Champion Sami Jane, and Jamie Hayter. Like that's a freaking
awesome card.
You think about who's where so many of those people are now.
Yeah.
That's what we were doing in November 2017.
Yeah.
So, and Emmy still to this day wears that shirt. Like that's what I said about, for people that check out the Choco Pro. It's so yeah. I've only got like a couple because of course, but so between that and the chairs, some things will be going up, but I just got to figure out where
and how much, I guess, as well.
Yeah, I haven't got a foggy.
No.
Because I've got to figure out the postage as well. And I got hit hard recently on some US orders for the Pile Driver Fascist shirt.
Right.
Like, literally 20 quid was how much it cost to send a shirt to. Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah, it was harsh, man. Like, I was just like, excuse me? Come again?
Yeah. Lee Johnson getting a match on Dynamite. They obviously had the QT promo setting him up as part of the Nightmare family.
Against Ethan Page.
Yes, just signed.
And that's another issue that I've got with the name because we've got Hangman Adam Page.
And Diamond Dallas Page. And
yeah, but
Ryan Cage.
You can get away with Diamond Dallas Page.
I know what you mean.
Hangman Adam Page, like I say, like there were two wrestlers in Eve. One was called Sami Jane. She came around first. And then there was another wrestler, and she wrestled on the independent scene as Sammy Baines. And I was just like, I can't have Sami Jane and Sammy Baines.
No.
So Baines, I said, look, we're going to drop the Sammy and you'll just be Baines.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, that's cool. Mercedes KV. That name ring a bell to you?
Who, sorry?
Mercedes KV.
Mercedes KV, not Mercedes Martinez. No, I don't know. Go on.
Mercedes KV was the indie name of Sasha Banks.
Oh, really? Right. Oh, of course, yeah.
Mercedes KV never got onto a Shimmer show because, and I'm quoting Dave Prazak here, so I remember him writing it in the forums, there's Mercedes Martinez.
Really?
And you should always have a separate name. If you've got especially a unique name, you should have a separate name, so that you can kind of like build like your own brand and not step on other people's toes, especially veterans of the scene.
Wow.
So that's the reason why, Sasha never wrestled in Shimmer, was because of the fact, and that's kind of a thing, So I think the name needs to be, and I remember as a kid, like if there was someone in WCW that had the same surname as someone in WWF, I remember in the primary school playgrounds, we'd wonder, checking their brothers, checking their cousins.
Yeah.
Like those were conversations that were had, and I genuinely believe that people
and kids still have them conversations. Yeah,
of course they will.
Yeah, of course they do.
And people do need to, in my opinion, to this needs to be addressed. In my opinion, maybe I'm old, maybe I'm long in the tooth, maybe I'm too old-fashioned. Who knows?
No, you're not.
I'm digging the Canadian destroyers.
Yeah,
so maybe I'm not too much. But the fact of the matter is, individual brand identity is important.
Yes. Oh, 100%. That's 100%. Which you'd be doing a
don't
lot
want
with
someone getting you confused with somebody else. That's why I don't like Brian Cage and Christian Cage, Hangman Page and Ethan Page. There was several people. Like I know I used that, those couple of examples there, but I know there was a few others who I said, but you're gonna have to change your name.
Yeah.
You can't be that because we've already got one of them. I now as a person, She is. I've never heard a bad word about her, but I couldn't stand Kylie Ray. Like when there's a Kylie Ray is a name, even if
Yeah.
that's a shoot name.
Yeah.
I didn't like Kylie Ray because it's like Kylie Ray's been around for over a decade.
Yeah.
And it's not like Kylie Ray's only known locally. She's traveled and wrestled all around
the
the world.
Yeah, of course.
So Kylie Ray and Kylie Ray, and I even saw websites, often wrongly refer
to the wrong
Kaylee or Kylie.
It's way too similar. Way too
similar. Chikara is a British female wrestler. And I remember saying to her, it's just like, mate, there's a promotion called Chikara.
It's not going to work, yeah.
It's like, and she was like, yeah, but it's my real name. And I was like, and they spell it with an A and I spell it with an I, or they spell it with an I and I spell it with an A, whatever way it was. And I was just like, but when people type in your name, you into Google, they went to a wrestling show and there was this really cool wrestler called Chikara there. So I'm going to type in Chikara wrestling.
Yeah.
What am I going to get? I'm not going to get her come up. I'm going to get the promotion come up.
You are, yeah.
And that's what I'm referring. Like, it's so important to have an identifiable brand that's not to be, confused with someone else. You need to come up at the top there.
Let's go through a couple of messages. Dan, could you send me a message on Discord and give me first dibs if possible, says Danny.
Yes, I shall.
There you go. Hey, exclusives. Ethan Page was really good in Impact. I hope he does good in AEW.
Well, Danny Hargreaves actually helped me out because I just basically plagiarized his rules for the Give Me a Whole Year Discord and just amended them to suit E, basically. But I took his bases.
Yeah. I know we'd worked on that together.
Fair.
We had a lot of issues on Discord at one point. Ethan Page was really good. So here's my problem. Ethan Page to me made absolutely zero impact in that ladder match. I don't remember him being in it.
No, do I. I remember his entrance.
Yeah, and that is it. Like
the problem when you've got like 7 or 8 or however many guys there were in that match.
And there's some big sort of names in that match as well,
Whereas,
I remember.
I like that.
It's
slam from the top.
Slam from the top.
I like
yeah.
that.
Well, Lee Johnson's a real talent, man, and I feel they've done him a disservice by putting him with the Nightmare Family.
No, I'm okay with it, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
He's a youngster. His career is in the future.
Okay.
You can't push everyone.
Yeah. Fair enough.
You might as well stick him with, in a situation that kind of gives him some. Because who is Lee Johnson otherwise?
Yeah.
How much time can they spend on getting Lee Johnson over and himself, as opposed to Lee Johnson? He's part of the Nightmare Family.
Well, he'd be in a tag team. He won't be by himself.
For a couple of years, and then eventually turn or split or whatever. Yeah. But he will mean so much more.
Yeah.
After then. He's not a guy you push now. He's a guy you simmer and have learned.
Mm-hmm.
You give time to and let him. Nice.
Yeah, nice kick. Cool. There was talk in chat about NBA music playing. I didn't hear it, but we're talking, so it's difficult for us, obviously. But it seems like you're all getting to the bottom of it. A chant of defense during a wrestling match. Haha. So it sounds like they've had another technical mishap. That sounds like it'd be on TNT's behalf because there'd be no reason for AEW to have.
Yeah, that would be a TNT thing. That's not an AEW thing.
Only heard of Dan today, but what an awesome channel you have built. Enjoyed watching part of that stream today. Thank you, Ains. Eve Pro Wrestling is outstanding. Ego's Edge, not a Razor's Edge. That's a definite finish, isn't it?
Yeah.
Eve Pro Wrestling is awesome, Ains, and we watch it like most weeks.
And thank you, Ains.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Brilliant. And having his insight into these, I hope you all enjoy it as much as I do, because the way I look at it, dudes, right? Although this channel is sort of me and Dom and all that sort of stuff, and it's just us chatting and when watching wrestling, like having Dan on these streams is something that I'd want to watch. And I wouldn't necessarily just want to watch me. Do you know what I mean? And not that that's a problem, and not that it's all the time, but I think having Dan here really sort of brings out a bit of insight. It gives you some questions. He's a cool dude. We get on. And, it's just two mates watching wrestling with you guys chatting. You know what I mean?
There's a nice little angle going on with QT Marshall at the moment there as well.
He's turning his back on Lee Johnson.
Wonder what's going on. But I'm intrigued. What's going on there. I think I saw something else. Dan, you're only 26. You're not old. Ha! I wish.
Dan, ever have crazy audio issues in your promotion?
I don't know about crazy audio issues, but we've had issues like the tech up guy once accidentally um, hit someone's music in the middle of a match, like literally just caught their finger on something on the laptop, and Salt and Pepper started playing, which was just like, I mean, he quickly pressed stop.
Yeah,
I remember Viper was in the ring and she just went, huh? And just got on with the match. Thank God it was someone like Viper, Piper Niven, because if it was a youngster, they might have been proper freaked out.
Proper put off, yeah.
Yeah, but Piper was just like, okay, and just got back at hand, which is so important of,
Sorry, did you see the lawnmower nearly go over?
Yeah.
That's
and Alan just doesn't get to go on there.
Yeah.
So, I certainly had some issues commentating, but the thing is, we didn't know until afterwards. So, we would, because we're not live on TV, we've got no feedback. We don't really know what we've got until, until we play it back. And sometimes, turns out one of the mics didn't work, and that's a problem when it's a conversation between two people. The problem, and that's the thing is even though we're not live on TV, you've only got one chance to record something when it's live, and accidents happen and mishaps happen. There's just, just like accidents in the ring happen, just like botches, mistakes happen, just like slip of the tongues happen.
There we go.
These things just happen.
Happens, yeah, absolutely, yeah. No, I've had exactly the same with shows, man. I remember once, I've never admit this. I was working a dance show and we had a snow machine and I turned it off at the plug to.
That's dance.
Oh, what?
By the way. Not Dan's show. He was
no,
saying
not dance. Yeah, dance. Yeah,
or dance.
I'm a northern lad. Dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a snow machine, and I'd turned it off because it was like a bladed fan, and I didn't want to put my hand in the bladed fan. Put the confetti in. Set it up. Let it snow while that crap comes on. And I go to turn on the snow machine, and the producers are really excited because it's a big killer moment, and nothing happens. And I'd forgot to turn the switch back on.
Yeah,
simple as that.
Exactly. Like the simplest. The worst one was on the Wrestle Kingdom pay-per-view, and I think I told the story at the weekend when someone decided to go. Someone from the venue, instead of spending an extra 2 seconds to walk around an area that had been cordoned off, literally had tape around "Do Not Enter" and everything. Decided, nah, screw that. Cut through it and disconnected the internet with their foot. They just kicked it over. And so we lost the feed. And of course, when we got found out there's no feed, people will start, running to me, and I'm on commentary. I'm doing live commentary for that.
Yeah.
And people are running to me, and they're like, "There's no feed." We're trying to sort it out.
Yeah.
And we're trying to sort it out, thinking it's our end on a tech issue. And then in the end, you're just like, just check, it shouldn't have been, because it's realistically in your mind, it's like the last thing it should be, because the whole area is cordoned off.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that's what it was. And the reason why we know it was someone from the venue is because it's also where we had one of our security cams facing, in case anyone tried to half inch any of the equipment, because the hard cam was next to it as well.
There we go.
And so we went and saw it. It was featured on there. It was literally a bar staff person that you just cut through and
just caused the accident, yeah,
and caused us to lose freaking the feed.
That's mad. That's mad. But yeah, and it's that thing, like you say, you was commentating at the time. You was trying to do one job, but actually you're not just commentating. You're looking after the girls. You're watching what's going on. You're sorting out any injuries that have to happen, checking that people are okay.
Which happened at Wrestle Kingdom with Leah Owens.
With Leah Owens, yeah, as well as Charlie Morgan doing the spot. You was there ready to catch her in case something went wrong.
Yeah.
It's just mad, really, to think what you did on that show. Tony Schiavone selling Christian Cage. I can't hear anything the announcer saying a freaking basketball is happening during AEW. We can't hear that. But we're watching it on Fight. So, and Tony Schiavone's promo is cut off by some ladies with brooms. I wonder what this could be, Dan.
I don't know, but if this is all about leading toward, because it was supposed to be Christian Cage coming out, if we're setting up Christian versus Kenny Omega,
I love that.
I feel I'm here all day for it.
I tell you what I love about his entrance, Dan. It's crap.
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
It's egotistical crap.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what Kenny Omega is. From the sheet to the dancing girls,
Look at his shirt.
the art, the song. We know AEW can do a wonderful entrance. Look at Cody's entrance. Look at Sting's entrance. This is high school crap.
Yeah.
But that's exactly right for Kenny Omega.
It's supposed to be. That's his ego. Exactly.
Love that detail, man. Freaking love that detail.
And look at his shirt. Look at his floral shirt.
Yeah, horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Wonderful.
Yeah, perfect. Jack, sorry, trial by combat. Jack wanted trial by combat in the Discord rules. We can still do it. Eb. Oh, yeah, point taken. That's your...
Yeah, by the way, for those wondering, I mean, we're watching by fight, and I never heard any of that defense or anything. I only heard the actual AEW commentary.
Yeah.
So that must have been a TNT issue.
What you all think about Lance starting to cut his own promos instead of Jake? I think it's great. I think that Jake's adding in a little bit, but in the sort of background, and I think that works nicely and puts him over more. Dan? Yeah,
he couldn't do much of the promos before when Archer was involved in the face side of things either. But he didn't do... He added a little bit tonight, but not a lot.
Yeah.
So here we go. So now we're going to get Kenny's versions of what went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but they're going straight into Christian.
But what, sorry?
I was going to say, I thought we were going to get Kenny's answer to what happened at the pay-per-view, but instead we seem to be more focused on Christian.
Moving on from it, maybe. They've had the explanation.
Well, the Good Brothers have got to be involved in that situation.
The god of professional wrestling.
Okay, so maybe we are going to get something. Let's see. How about give me a whole year branded Kraken, not the rum? Damn. I bought some whiskey today though.
Give me a whole year what? Sorry.
Kraken.
Oh yes. Oh no, the rum.
Not the rum.
The rum. Yeah. The rum.
I literally today I was like, am I going to get myself a rum or am I going to get this whiskey? And I went with the whiskey.
Nice.
Got myself a bottle of Hague. Haven't had a bottle of Hague before.
Gentleman Head, the blue bottle one.
Like a purple blue bottle.
Yeah. It's all right. Yeah, I don't mind
that. Clubhouse.
Yes.
Correctly. Yeah, it's a Scotch more so than a traditional Scotch whiskey. Single grain.
They're taking the blame for the explosion. He's not going to confirm or deny if they had anything to do with it. Of course not, because Kenny would be real pissed off.
So they said they can neither confirm nor deny whether they had anything to do with it.
The invisible
so they're
hand.
saying they did it on purpose.
Well, they're saying
otherwise it would have been done. Otherwise, it would have given Tony Khan and AEW a big memory, a big moment, and they took it away. They took that. They took away Moxley winning the title. They took away the big explosion. They're saying they embarrassed them.
A heroic moment.
They took away Eddie Kingston's heroic moment. I like this. They're saying whatever happened, we win.
Yeah.
If the ring would have blown up, we won. But if the ring somehow and he's laughing.
Mm-hmm. so true as well, Don.
Yeah, they say for those that aren't watching it, they said if the ring blows up, we win because one gets maimed and the other is gone. And if the ring doesn't blow up through whatever reason, and he laughed as if to say that maybe we did it on purpose, we still win because they look like a pair of idiots.
Yeah. I didn't see him going either of these ways, but I like them both. I'm triumphant.
Kenny Omega just said we never expected Eddie Kingston to come out to the ring and dry hump you in the middle, which was tremendous. And here comes Eddie Kingston right now. So are we going to have Moxley come out and then Christian come out? Are we going to have... Because that's a good way to kind of save a little bit, I think, by having Christian, Moxley, and
yeah, good six-man
Eddie Kingston all together.
Yeah.
There's some good angles happening tonight. Or at least there's some interesting.
Yeah.
You know,
well, it was always going to be interesting because we wanted to see
what
would happen.
You know what AEW has? Tremendous talkers, tremendous promos. And here's the thing, because it's not scripted word for word, because they haven't got writers writing every single detail. When you hear a wrestler in AEW cut a promo, when you hear them talk, it sounds like that is how that person talk. It doesn't sound like they are saying the words given to them by someone else. It sounds far more real than any promo that you see on Raw.
Completely agree, man. Completely agree.
And I see there's a couple of questions for me. I will get to them after this.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. We will get to the comments in a minute. If you could like the video, it'd really help us out. We've got 14 people watching. You guys rock. Go check out Eve's channel as well. Taking the piss out of Eddie Kingston for laying there. But then Kingston earlier in that promo was sort of talking about his anxieties and bringing stuff back. And they've all got reasons. I'll tell you how I thought they were going to deal with this afterwards, Sam.
They've pretty much gone down the only routes that I thought they could go down.
Countdown.
I'm reminded suddenly of the
clever way of
episode of Raw.
69 me, save me, did Kenny just say?
Yeah.
He actually just said 69 me, save me, followed by Don Callis going on top of him in reverse position. Did I blow up?
That's wicked. Wait. So we're standing up Kingston versus Omega in something. That won't be a pay-per-view match, but certainly be a TV match.
Yeah. There's no pay-per-view for a while, and
No, what was it, like every 3 months?
Yeah, every 3 months, yeah.
Eddie Kingston versus Kenny. And then, of course, he'll do it, and then the Good Brothers will jump him.
And then you get Moxley and Kingston.
And then presumably Mox and Christian are going to come out.
Yeah, I'd assume so. Here comes Mox first. There we go. So we're getting that tag team match happening. We might even get that on Impact, Dan.
Maybe we won't get Christian because Moxley's getting rid of the pair of them. Yeah, no, here comes Christian.
Here he comes. Oh, during a hot angle as well.
He shouldn't have done the music though. He should have just come out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I always hate it. Like someone's getting beaten up. Just wait for their music.
Yeah. I suppose the idea, Dan, though, is because of the countdown.
Oh, he's not out for the save. He's just out to look.
Right.
Maybe he's going to hit the kill switch now. This is the setup. So this is to set up the whole. As I said earlier, Moxley and Kingston against the Good Brothers. Christian versus Omega, and I'm here all day, every day.
Absolutely, Dan.
Christian and Omega. That match will be outstanding.
Yeah, I think that could be the pay-per-view match, Dan. Even 3 months away. I think you do Kenny and Kingston first. Maybe a rematch between Moxley and Kenny because people seem to want that to carry on. And then you go into Christian and Kenny at the pay-per-view.
I love the fact that Christian's got his TNA music as well.
Apparently, it's slightly different, isn't it?
No,
or is it not? Is it exactly the same?
If it's slightly different, it's only very slightly different because everything that I'm hearing feels exactly as I remember it.
Yeah,
And I actually happened to watch, came up in one of the videos after I watched on YouTube. Ironically, somehow it followed the Tom Scott video. Tom Scott, by the way, is my favorite YouTuber. I strongly recommend watching him if you don't, if you're interested in little facts. But it went from a Tom Scott video into Christian's TNA debut.
Wow.
I heard that music there. He's going to get out.
Oh, yeah. Pulling out by Don Callis. Cool. They've given us the tease of it, Dan, but drop it for a little bit. Don't do the Sting Darby Allin thing.
See, I'd have done it differently. I'd have had him be the only one in the ring. I'd have had this. See, some people are going to boo the idea of Christian as AEW champ because they're still upset that he was the surprise.
Yeah.
So I certainly wouldn't do it like this.
No.
What I would have done is had Christian out of nowhere while Omega's kind of like the only one in the ring, kind of smiling at the fact that Moxley and Kingston are, brawling and he's no longer his problem. And I'll have had Christian suddenly behind Kill Switch down. I certainly wouldn't have had him grab the AEW World title yet because I think that there's a lot of people that are still upset. And I think that's bullshit, personally.
Yeah, I do.
But
it can't help how people feel, Dan.
Give them something. Give them something to remember why Christian is so good. Give them that pop from Christian. And the kill switch, the unprettier, whatever you want, the Tomikaze, as it was originally called when it was invented by Tommy Rogers back in the mid-90s. Give them that because that will elicit a pop. That will help us go, yeah, I do actually like Christian. I do like Christian. I like that move. And here's the other thing. Nobody does the Tomikaze like Christian. Christian does the best version of the Tomikaze. The next person to me that actually does the best version is actually Aaron Angel.
There we go.
And I taught her that. So the fact of the matter is I personally believe that Christian and Kenny Omega is going to be outstanding, and I do think that they can get the fans back round to Christian.
Dude, that could be Christian's best match of his career. I mean, Kenny's done it with several people, so absolutely could be. And that's the thing. I mean, Jesus, can you imagine if Edge had gone in and fought Kenny Omega? And don't get me wrong, dude, I thought his match with Randy Orton was great, the greatest wrestling match ever. I mean, it was wonderful. But can you imagine if he was in the ring with Kenny Omega? Like, Jesus. The same guy doing this.
Here's the thing. Personally, I believe that Christian is the better worker of the two.
Of him and Kenny?
Of Christian and Edge.
Yes, I could potentially agree with that. I mean, I think Edge has been doing some wonderful work as well, though. So, great. Good time for wrestling, Dan. The same guy doing the TV audio wired the explosives at Revolution, Joey. Jesus.
I got to scroll back so I can answer some of these questions.
Cool.
That I saw here. So bear with us. Last thing I think we saw was, Dan, have you ever had crazy audio issues? We got to. If you don't know, Jack, my ring name I developed when I thought I'd be able to have an in-career. It's nothing like my real name yet. That's quite standard, and I'm glad to hear that. I don't like to give me a whole Discord rules, only because my idea of Charles McCall, of course, we saw that. Where are we?
Jeff says they fixed the audio issues just in time for Marvez. Thank God. Remember QT left the match during the pay-per-view in the tag team royal? Yes, he did, didn't he, actually?
Thank you for reminding question, us. But I think he retracted it.
And I can't see it either.
You don't know Jack, Dan, what's your favourite Pringle? Barbecue.
Ends, if you've got that question again, feel free to ask it, mate. It's all good.
Omega and Callis are amazing. They are. Do you think I'd get away wearing an AEW t-shirt at WrestleMania?
I wonder
Probably
how
not.
WWE are going to react to that when the fans go back. Yeah, because they've got full control of their audience at the minute. Kenny made a shirt out of my grandma's curtains.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You don't know Jack 69. I know, it's such a great line.
What's that, sorry?
Donna's on May 30th, so 3 months. Next AEW pay-per-view is Arsene of May. I think they'd be at a Daily's place, but I'm not putting money on it. Yeah, I'm not sure yet, and I wouldn't rush things personally.
No.
Yeah, Jack, I hope you can do it. I think Ains asked something about how do you decide who gets pushed and who doesn't.
Okay.
But I think he deleted the question, so maybe he doesn't want to know. If you do, ask me. If you don't.
Ains, feel
It's all
free
good,
to have
pal.
it again.
Whatever suits you.
Don is on the Double or Nothing is on May the 30th. Nice. Thank you, Jenna.
Raymond Cannon, that's what I was asking. Who will Mox and Eddie's partner be for a 6-man? It couldn't happen in Impact. I hope they can do it in Vegas. Yeah, it'd be nice if they could do it in Vegas. Did you hear about the title between Omega and winner of Swan and Moose? Omega's going to collect another one. Yeah, he has to collect that.
I think that'd be great. That'd be great. He should be
fantastic for Impact.
And by the way, everyone's saying Moose should win, and I'm like, no. Swan should win, and we get Swan on Omega, and Moose is the guy that takes it off Omega. That's the right story, in my opinion. That is how you get Moose to that next level. And I don't know if Rich Swann could do as much with that win in the future. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I would imagine. I don't know. It's hard. It's a hard thing to call because Rich Swann and Kenny would be an amazing match. And Moose and Kenny. Look, Moose can go at the right time and the right people. So.
But I still.
Okay,
I
here
still
comes
think...
Maki.
Oh, this is a 6-woman tag, isn't it? Excellent.
Yep.
Maki, and we're just gonna watch her awesome singing.
She's gonna
carries on singing.
Yeah. Beautiful. Excellent. Absolutely excellent. This is perfect. This is how you present Maki Itoh.
Why is Vicky Guerrero beating up Hikaru Shida?
If you
Come on.
don't know me and you're watching this, yes, Maki Itoh has worked for me. She's been a part of Pro Wrestling Eve. And I can tell you now that Maki Itoh, that's exactly how you present her.
Yeah.
Oh, she's just bopping her. There's not a lot of...
Oh, no. Right, here's my issue. Here's my issue, Dan. Hikaru Shida has just gone from getting beat up by Vicky Guerrero, then being thrown around by Reba, and then...
she got hit with a crutch to the knee first, though. So she was selling the knee.
Maki Itoh in the ring.
The headbutt. This is the thing, right? If you think that Maki Itoh is Hikaru Shida level as a wrestler from a technical aspect, or Emi Sakura, or Ryu Mizunami, you are strongly mistaken. But Maki Itoh has an X factor that only comes around 1 in every 10,000 people, if that.
Charisma, man.
Maki
Character.
Itoh is a special, charismatic athlete, and if you present her in the right way, I know this as someone that Maki Itoh has worked for. Eve gets a number of people that have never seen wrestling before. We attract, or if they've seen wrestling, they only have seen Eve. Our audience is incredibly diverse in society and not your standard normal wrestling audience. And Maki Itoh got every single one of them staring at her and smiling and laughing and enjoying. She got the attention from normal people, quote unquote. She is the kind of person and character that you really want as part of a mainstream wrestling show because she can actually draw the attention of new viewers. So long as, and a lot of people are going to go, I don't see it. It's all down to the presentation at the end of the day. You have to be able to present her differently, and you have to be able to present her, in my opinion, as a live event experience, because that's what Maki Itoh is. And I'll tell you, there is nothing quite like seeing Maki Itoh live. Maki Itoh live is so much more than Maki Itoh on TV.
On TV. Oh, yeah, but we saw that at the start of that. I mean, that was wonderful. That was hilarious.
And being in that audience, everyone's eyes are on her. I remember literally seeing people stop mid-conversation because at the show, because of the type of audience that we have, I'm always around. I'm like doing commentary. I'm around the audience. I'm running back and forth. I'm doing 1,000,001 things. I'm on the headset as well, trying to talk to, if it's like Wrestle Queen, I'm trying to talk to the people doing pyro and musics and all sorts. I'm timekeeping. I'm queuing people up. I'm doing everything. And I just remember looking around Wrestle Queen 3 when Maki Itoh was doing her entrance, and nobody was looking at their friend and talking to them. Everybody's eyes were fixed on Maki Itoh. And I literally saw so many women, because our audience, we get a lot of women at Eve.
Absolutely.
Far more than pretty much any other
wrestling
without a doubt, more than any other wrestling convention. I just saw the smiles raise up on the faces. Like that is special.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
you get non-wrestling people, stop everything. They're not laughing. They're not going, haha. And it's not just like a night out. They're invested emotionally and they want to see her again.
Yeah.
She sells tickets. One of
There
the
we
other
go.
people that, I can say absolutely makes a difference was Charlie Morgan, because I would get asked by people who weren't wrestling fans, they would recognize Charlie Morgan.
Mhm.
And Charlie Morgan is a draw. And that's
Mhm.
why I'm saying it's like I have worked with people who are draws, and I've worked with people
Hey,
who
she gets
people
it this
think
time.
are draws.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there is a difference.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah.
Maki Itoh is absolutely a draw.
And sometimes you don't even know until the audience are there, and it's about sending people with a good time.
You never know until you got an audience.
There we
You
go.
never know until you got an audience. Because there's, again, right, you take, that's where you discover that connection.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what I'm on about. It's like, at the end of the day, that's what the thing that matters the most. Can that wrestler connect to an audience? Lulu Pencil of Choco Pro technically is the absolute worst wrestler in the world. But that's also kind of part of her character.
Yeah.
And it's part of the thing that endears you to her.
Yep.
Yes, she's terrible. Absolutely terrible. She can't do anything. She fails at absolutely everything, but she keeps trying, and you are part of an emotional story and connection to her.
Mhm.
Yes, she's a bit Marmite. There are people that absolutely can't stand her and that character, but there are others who are just as emotionally invested into her as they could be anything else, or more than perhaps anything else.
Yeah.
Japanese style there, Kai and Tai.
These days, dude, it's like it's hard to do anything original, and you are going to get a lot of divisiveness when it comes to originality. And you look at someone like Orange Cassidy, who's the most original thing in mainstream wrestling for the last 5 years at least. And he's super divisive. People love him, people hate him. But no matter what, you can't say he's not a draw, because he is. He gets people talking and can provide entertainment. Remy Hewitt says, yawn her. I must have fallen asleep. Did I miss anything? Yeah, I don't think so. Beautiful cut there. Nice sell from Nyla as well.
Sorry, Ant, you disappeared for a moment there. Maybe it was just my connection to you.
Yeah, I lost you as well for a second, but it's all good. The first hour is over, but we had a lot of stuff going on with promos and very good matches, but seems like we've been watching for over 2 hours now. Love the way AEW does this compared to that other West company, I'm guessing. Yeah. Snazzy Futuristic could join us. Hello, sorry I'm late. That's all good, man. As long as you've hit that like button, that really helps us out. Share out the stream. Tell your buddies about us. Come and watch some wrestling with your buddies. The face is all with Britt Baker in the corner now, taking all the offense.
Oh. 2 feet into the ring. That didn't quite go as planned, but nonetheless.
Nonetheless, a nice different move. Wrestle Story's joined us. Hello, Wrestle Story. The Wrestle Story are outstanding. Maven Glean and Mr. Glean, who do a wonderful show over on YouTube. They'll have a wonderful review after this show. So please go and like their videos. The headbutt.
The timings.
She's got
a little bit of timing there.
She's got like so much. You're right. She's got so much. You can't take your eyes off her when she's in the ring. And look who's in the ring with her, for God's sake. Wait, we're 80 minutes in. How? It feels like we just started. Yeah, I've really enjoyed this show.
Yeah, I didn't realize we were 80 minutes in.
Yeah, man.
It's been a busy show.
Yeah. But not overly heavy on the matches as well, actually, which has been nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been a nice mix. It hasn't been like so overly heavy, but at the same time, they haven't made matches mean less. Because the thing is, I like to have majority wrestling on my wrestling shows.
Agreed.
Oh, Corkscrew Pescada.
There we go. Corkscrew Pescada from Thunder Rosa taking down everyone, and now targeting Maki. Oh,
Thunder Rosa, who runs Mission Pro Wrestling and is one of the trainers at the Dog Pound Dojo, which is Thunder Rosa, Jazz, and also Red Dog, who was part of WWE for a short amount of time.
Dude, that's awesome.
We got Maki Itoh, who is the former Tokyo Joshi Pro Princess and Princess champion. And Thunder Rosa actually defeated her for that title, if I remember correctly. sure someone in the chat might be able to correct me. Maybe not. I don't know, but I believe that's right.
It's more. I can't help you.
But that's what I mean. There's the connection there between Maki Itoh and Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
Dan gets caught.
Just dropping on her head. That's over. Great. Dude, Dan, if there was one wrestler I could interview right now, Thunder Rosa would be that wrestler.
Is that you asking me to hook you up?
No, it's not. No, not on live stream anyway. But I would love to. Anyway, I don't know if you can because she's clearly got a contract with AEW.
Well, I mean, you probably have to be like through Soundsphere.
Yeah.
But like,
that is one wrestler I'd love to interview. Another one I'd love to interview would be Aubrey Edwards. Love to talk to her.
I don't know Aubrey.
Yeah.
She follows me on Twitter.
Yeah.
She interacts with us at times, but I don't know her.
Oh,
whereas that's a nice little details there on this angle.
Yeah.
Where's I guess Nyla is taking care of Shida and Rhea Mizunami.
Well, I don't know. They might not be distracting from the angle. They might just be dead on the outside.
Well, we haven't got Nyla in the shot.
Right.
So that's why I'm guessing Nyla is doing something. But it'd be nice if we could find out where they are.
Oh, she's coming now. Oh yeah, because he had Vicky in the ring, so why not now? Like, yeah.
Hey, Snazzy Futuristic. Sorry, I didn't see you join. And hello as well from me to the Wrestle Story.
Yeah. Thunder Rosa is awesome. I tell you what, the women did a really good job there. A really nice, fun 6-man tag match.
Yeah, it was a fun match. It wasn't like, world beating or anything on those lines, but it was good. It was everyone got a shine in there.
Yep.
And that finish looked freaking brutal.
Oh man. Some bizarre.
So I'm guessing we're going to get Matt Hardy's going to be leeching off a private party now, which is what I said I hoped they would go down. I said in the predictions that I really wanted Hangman Page to go over and for us to go down this route with these guys.
I like Mark Quinn's hair at the minute.
Whoa.
Makes sense, man, because Kingston's gone. So, a new faction. I love the Butcher and the Blade. I sort of wish to give them time to be by themselves because I think that their matches are wonderful.
Yeah, they're still very... So I didn't even know, right? I didn't realize that the Blade used to be Pepper Parks on the independent scene. And I've worked with Pepper Parks.
Oh, really?
So I didn't even know that I was looking at this guy that I've even worked with. Like...
There we go, man. Good dude to work with.
Pleasant. Nice.
Yeah.
Professional.
Yeah.
Can't say a bad word about him. I only worked with him for the one night. But yeah. The Butcher is, if anyone watches Eve, you'll know Addy Starr. The Butcher is one of Addy's closest mates, one of Addy's best mates, and actually does Addy Starr's entrance music as well.
Oh, really? Right.
Very versatile. Yeah, he's in a band.
He is in a band. As I lay dying.
Every time I die.
Every time I die. There we go.
Yeah.
Raymond says, wonder where they're going with Baker and Rosa because neither has a belt, but this is going to be good between them because Baker is getting better fast. It's been building up for a while and they haven't paid it off yet. So, yeah, because instead of paying it off at this pay-per-view, we got the sort of tag match. So you need to have a finish to that story.
Raymond says a couple of things I noticed. Now that the tournament was over, Vicky Guerrero suddenly appeared. Yeah, well, she was in the final.
She was, yeah.
The purpose for her not being there at the start was to make sure that you knew that Nyla was the baby and Britt was the heel by having Nyla, outnumbered so that you want to see her get a hold of Britt and destroy her. It's a standard, thing to do when you're going to do a heel v heel match, because the structure of a match, it's one of the reasons why I was so impressed with Nina Samuels and Nicole Matthews at Eve, which was a part of that initial She Won. That was a heel v heel match, and traditionally, 99.9% of the time, you will get someone have to play the babyface in that match and play for the standard structure of how a wrestling match is put together. In the Nina Samuels versus Nicole Matthews, which if you haven't seen it, is free on our YouTube channel. Neither play the babyface, neither go down that route. And sometimes wrestlers do that in heel v heel matches, and it results in a crowd being quiet and not reacting. And this match was the exact opposite. The crowd were going crazy for it, and both were keeping to their characters. Both were villains. And it is a proof and a prime example that you can do heel v heel, and maintain those characters, maintain how they work, and have a crowd go crazy. It is extremely difficult. And that is the reason. That is why what Nina Samuels and Nicole Matthews, achieved at that Eve show when they had that match against each other. That is what made it so special, and what makes them so special. Two of the most underutilized, underrated professional wrestlers in the entirety of the world.
There you go. And if you want to hear what Dan's talking about, please do subscribe to his channel. The brass ring, yeah.
It's the Sonic ring. It looks gold, man.
The links are in the description, and we regularly do watch alongs as well. So if you want this sort of format where we just sort of have a chat and stuff like that, please do join us, because it's always great. Are you all right just going into Raymond's other comments for us? And Jeff, who said the Butcher and the Blade needs something to do now that Eddie's turned. Yeah, but I sort of wish it wasn't just. I don't just want them to be the meat of a faction each time, or not the meat, the cartilage, I guess, of the factions each time. Because ultimately they'll be, in terms of the priorities of that faction, they'll be behind Private Party because they've invested more time in Private Party's characters. So
I don't know if I think that.
Don't you?
No.
Well, they sort of did it, but there was it with Kingston's faction as well, with Penta and Ray.
Yeah, but here's the thing: you can't push everyone.
And I get that. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Everyone just kind of has to have places.
Right.
It's very difficult to manage that as well, because everyone wants to get pushed.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just have to say, "Hey, look, this is the reason why."
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you're not doing as well. It's just that this is where things are right now.
All right, I'll be right back. I don't want to miss this match, Dan. Sorry, carry on, mate.
No, go for it.
Sorry,
go for it. Raymond Hughes says, Aubrey wasn't a ref. This tells me that AEW didn't take the match seriously, and B, AEW isn't sticking Aubrey in every women's match. I wouldn't say A, that they didn't take it seriously, but certainly B, sticking Aubrey in every women's match. I think it's good that they're not doing that, because I don't think Aubrey would even want that. Now, I don't know Aubrey, so I can't put words in my mouth, but you want to make sure that you're treating Aubrey, just like every other ref, and not just saying because you're the female. I think it's a nice thing to do at the start to make sure that, you kind of emphasize as well that everyone involved a female. But I don't think you could do it every single time until you've got so many women refs. Because I like the fact that Aubrey is refereeing this match, which is a championship match. And it actually means a lot to the refs as well when they get to referee things like this. So, it'll mean more to Aubrey to referee the championship match than it will to referee a trios match.
Yeah, definitely.
So, a 3 with no interference tournament over. This match actually had a double interference. Yeah. But at least we didn't have any interference in the tournament. And at least, I will say, because we didn't, at least it meant something, I guess. It's a hard thing because we get interference so much in WWE, when any other promotion tries to go ages without interference, it still doesn't feel like we've gone ages without interference. I hate refs going down. And anyone knows that, I literally write on the whiteboard at Eve shows, no ref bumps, without Dan's approval.
Yeah.
Right, which is me basically saying, don't go asking your ref to go down for you on. And I literally write, and I tell the refs as well, if anyone suggests you taking a bump, you must come to me first.
Mm-hmm.
And the refs love it anyway because they're not wanting to bump all over the place.
No.
But like, and so, and I think I've done maybe 2 ref bumps in 20 years.
Wow.
Like maybe a couple more, but like, I've done that few that I can't even. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you can't even remember them
because I do it on purpose. But it's even so, it still doesn't feel. No, I've done more because I remember there was one that the girls like really hassled me for, and I was just like, all right, I gave it to him. But other than that, I think the only one that I can.
I love this.
We did one to get rid of Rob Brazier because Rob Brazier wasn't going to be reffing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So he took a chair to the face, and that was writing him off as a referee.
Yeah.
And then there was one to write Millie McKenzie off, where she speared Lauren, and it was to write Millie McKenzie off for 3 months because that was the other thing. If someone was going to hit a ref, there needed to be massive implications. Like we have the Spirit of Eve, which is basically kind of like a no DQ, so long as you're following the ref's instructions. But there are certain rules: no outside interference. If there's outside interference, automatic DQ, and there'll be punishment. And another part would be, suspension if you hit a non-wrestler.
Dan, this is a different type of match than I've seen for a long time. It feels scrappy in a really sort of
it's attitude. They're presenting that they're trying to out wrestle each other, but in attitude.
Yeah.
They're not just presenting that they're trying to be the best technical wrestler.
Yeah.
They're presenting that there is a level of attitude between the two.
And
they're presenting that it's a level of one-upmanship rather than just
he's gone. Oh no, it's a work.
Shit! No, this is
it's a work. I'll be checking on him more.
No, I don't know. That's maybe.
Yeah.
It's a weird one because the thing is he's not going for it.
Mm-hmm.
If it was a work, you'd go for it.
Sorry, go on.
No, it's just that's the thing. You would go for it if it's a work because otherwise you're confusing the story that you're telling.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you did just sell it
another
weirdly.
Thing is that she went to check on him and Darby turned away from her instantly. That is a classic thing that wrestlers do when they don't want the ref to know that they're hurt.
Right. Because
they don't want the ref to end it. And I've had this issue with wrestlers numerous times.
The insight we get from Dan on this channel. Dude.
There's a wrestler on the UK scene called Callum Newman.
Yeah.
And remember that name because Callum Newman will be a massive, massive star. That was also interesting. A trick to the backbreaker is just your feet go down at the same time that your back goes onto the knee to basically, take a load of the impact, right?
Yeah.
Darby kept that foot off. So he actually smacked that other foot down, but he didn't put the foot that he's... Now, if it is a work, that's a tremendous detail. But yeah, there's a wrestler called Callum Newman, and I want you all to remember that name because Callum Newman is one day going to be a worldwide star. But he does my head in and he knows it, and I love him to pieces, and I've known him since he was like 14 years old because he's been hurt because he's got that high-risk style in the ring several times, and he's had like rookie referees who don't know how to like end the match because they're going to get shit from the wrestlers and they're scared and all sorts of things. He's on my shows, to be clear. And I've literally ended up running to the ring, and literally I'm ringside, like in front of everyone, going, like we're going to end the match. This isn't even in my show. No. And I'm saying, and he's just like, no, I'm no pussy. Because that's what you're dealing with. The adrenaline's running there. Not an angry person, but that, you're dealing with a lot of young guys and they want to fight through that.
Yeah.
And I remember like there was like that show in particular, Callum's mum was there.
Right.
And I remember Callum's mum was like damn near in tears. And she's saying to me, like, is he hurt? And it's difficult, but that's what you're working with when you're working with a lot of youngsters. And also, there's another thing to take into account when it's the ankle, is you can turn the ankle and it's actually might be that it's hurting for a few minutes,
Mm-hmm.
an incredible pain for a few minutes,
But
but
then
after that
it's
few minutes,
gone.
you're fine.
Mm.
So,
Get into some comments if that's all right. Maybe Rosa likes drawing out feuds, and this will only enhance Baker when it comes to the end, because I love Rosa and she's a star. So having her push Baker is great. Agreed, Raymond, and I think it's a great place for Thunder as well. Yes, check out Eve Riot Girls of Wrestling. The channel is very good. It is very good wrestler story. I don't know if you all saw the live stream that they did on Monday, but they raised $1,305 for the charity, which was for women's abuse, which is RAIN, women that have been victims of abuse.
Sexual abuse and incest, basically.
Yeah, so outstanding charity and outstanding work from the wrestling community to support that. So congratulations, Dan. That's amazing.
Thank you. And it was really great to have so many of the Eve roster, but also friends of Eve, such as Kate Nash and Lita, joining us, and also Faye Jackson. Sue Young actually did try to get in, but it just weren't. I think the Susan character has actually overtaken the real Sue Young.
Right, wow.
Because she was, but I didn't see at the time. I had just SummerSlam '92, not quite.
No,
because I didn't check. I didn't see it for a couple of hours, but I had numerous messages from Sue Young going, "Okay, I'm doing this and it's not working." There was loads of messages, and I was just
wow.
But yeah, just a big thank you to everyone that took part and watched us, and
yeah, thank you to you guys
really
that joined.
stuff.
I did see a few of you guys in chat join at various points, and that means a lot, man.
I've got to throw love out to Gail Kim as well. Gail Kim messaged me about it. It was just really cool, to have, and a number of those anonymous donations as well were, some
wrestlers
friends.
Of course. Yeah.
So,
well, congratulations, man. And I thought the stream was great. It was awesome seeing you all have a laugh. Rhea O'Reilly did a wonderful job as well, staying with you for such a long time. Yeah, she's great. So, love Darcy as well.
Yeah,
and everyone did a great job. But it was wonderful seeing their reaction to Lita as well, because obviously, I think if you're a female wrestler, at some point you've got to be inspired by Lita and what she did in the ring.
Lita is the Buffy the Vampire Slayer of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
The influence that she has had to a generation of wrestlers, because no one had ever looked like Lita, and she opened the business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because before, it was like you had to be Sable, or if you looked different, you were going to be treated like Luna Vachon.
There we go.
And Lita broke that mold.
She certainly did. And also, I mean, Eve Riot Girls of Wrestling is a perfect fit for Lita as well,
Well, she said it. That was the beautiful thing. She said it on screen, What a way to make us feel great. Just want to say, Raymond Hewer says, I'm old school, touch the ref and you lose. I am with you 1,000%. I am incredibly anti, ref bumps. I'm so anti-ref. And I'm anti-interference as well. Like, there's a time for it. But, I just see WWE do so much. Yeah. But I kind of feel it forces everyone to.
AEW out the best with it, man. They do a lot of interference as well.
Yeah. And I don't like repetition. This is what caused me to cancel my New Japan subscription. Too much interference. Right. That is not what I was watching New Japan for.
Mm.
I did not want that in my wrestling. I had a New Japan subscription because it wasn't like that. And then when it went like that, well, I'm not going to, watch it. I have done interference in Eve before.
Yeah.
But it's in, very, very rare, and I try not to do it in matches.
Oh!
Specifically. And if it does, it'll mean something.
Darby being slammed into that turnbuckle. Sorry, Dan, I'm just
no. This is a very good. This is a good match.
I think this is main event, by the way.
Yeah, this is.
And they're doing a half-hour match on TV. Great. With these two.
I mean, it's a title match. It should be a match.
Yeah, should be. I agree. Aubrey's the best ref in AEW, and backstage knows it. They assign her to the important matches like the title match.
Oh! Nice detail. Jesus. You don't always have to do a big counter with a cutter or something.
No.
No, this is... what did I just say? Oh. But sometimes I guess you do a counter with a cutter.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
What perfect timing, Dan. They signed it to the important matches like this title match, which I have my back to at the minute,
I
really.
can't believe that happened.
It's great, Raymond. I'd turn around, honestly. Yeah, he's definitely hurting. I still think I don't know if it was a work or if he just landed oddly and just was going to sell the wrong area of his body or whatever, because it hadn't played into the match, like Dan said. But
yeah, and he's not selling it really now. He grabs it a little bit, but he's not selling it.
Yeah.
So he obviously, it's possible that it's a little thing like, have you ever like just walked and just like, your ankle's just gone and you've ended up walking on the side of your ankle?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful Fisherman Buster.
Not
enough really Fisherman Busters done like that these days.
No, man, no.
Big fan of it.
Louis says, I don't have to work after AEW, so I can watch the Wrestle Story. Awesome. Go join the Wrestle Story. We'll send people across there after we're done here. Sending him to the top of the turnbuckle now. WrestleMania 37 card matches, 15 Monday Night Raw and SmackDown AEW Dream Match card is Wednesday at WrestleMania 37. I don't know what that means exactly, Glenn, but that's all cool, man.
Coffin drop, bomb.
Bloody hell. Beautiful as well. These guys are great, man.
Oh, they're having a great match.
What a showcase.
This is the match that Scorpio Sky needs.
Absolutely.
If I was them, I'd switch the title.
Mate, I think it was a match that Darby needed, and no, I wouldn't switch the title. Darby needs to have a run with the title, and he hasn't had it yet.
I agree, but I also think that this is the finish. Yeah, it is.
That's the finish. Interesting. But
the reason why I would switch the title, but is because I would do it if you're doing a standalone wrestling match.
Yeah.
And then go back to doing it, but they're obviously doing an angle, or this is part of a longer story.
Yeah,
involving Scorpio Sky.
Yeah. Well, he gets the wins, but doesn't win the big one. It works. That was beautiful. And Darby gets a win with the roll-up.
As I said, you don't always have to counter something with a cutter.
The counter with
we saw a counter into a cut. But that is part of the problem. Like, there's cutters for counters, like, constantly. And the cutter is a move that's just done way too much.
Jeremy says, I don't like AEW. There, I said it. I stopped watching after the double Canadian driver by the book and they get up and wrestle another 10 minutes. Fair enough, Jeremy. It's fine, man. Look.
There it is.
Yeah. He was heel on commentary last week, apparently. We sort of miss it because we're sort of talking and trying to entertain.
No, so the thing was must have been a work. And they had it that he was, being a good guy by not going for it.
Yeah. Does Darby need the contacts? I don't know if he does. I don't know where that's come from.
Or if not, or is that the other ankle, actually?
No, it'd be the same based on where he landed. Yeah, it's the same. Jeremy, you think we don't know? Darby's such a star. He is, man. And both of these men were brilliant tonight. That's why I'm starting to dislike Good Brothers and Callis interfering in Kenny's matches. To me, it makes Kenny look like a weak heel. I can understand where you're coming from, Raymond.
There are times to do it, and there are times to not do it. Yeah. And I think the problem is if you only have Kenny go against guys where he needs interference to win or for heat or to keep the other person over, then there's a problem. You need to do matches where it's not a main event guy against Kenny and that non-main event guy has an impressive showing against Kenny, but Kenny wins still. You don't need to do. There we go. Next week.
It's happening next week.
Moxley and Kingston against the Good Brothers.
I thought that was going to happen.
I'm a big believer. I did love how they used to do things in the NWA and early WCW with the Clash of the Champions, where you get Ric Flair, who'd be the champion, going up against, say, Bobby Eaton, for example, or Scott Steiner, who was one half of the tag champ. Not the Scott Steiner that would later become Big Papa Pump. No. But, Scott Steiner, one half of the Steiner brothers. Or against Rick Steiner. The idea that you would do these matches and, these guys would look amazing taking Ric Flair to the limit, but Ric Flair would be able to win. And I think it's things like that when you then do your Moxley matches and there's an outside interference that, keep the heat.
It means something.
But you always remember that Kenny Omega is that good a heel.
Yeah.
Oh, and do you know who the fault is, though? The fault lies with WWE.
When
it comes to this outside interference. Because here's the thing. WWE subconsciously are training future professional wrestlers, and they train fans as well. So when something doesn't happen that would normally happen on the WWE show because it's been done differently, then you end up, with people going, "Oh, what they should have done is this."
Is this? Yeah, yeah.
No, that's just what WWE would have done, and that's what you're used to. And a lot of wrestlers, a lot of villains. I've had to do this on shows that I've run, where I've had to say to a villain, I don't want you to necessarily cheat to win.
No.
I want you to win clean. You can cheat and do some bits and pieces in the match, if as long as you're not going over the top. And normally it will come, you're then dealing with a response. And this is 9 out of 10's response. Oh, but I want to make sure they look good. It's just like, that's all well and good, but you need to look competent as well.
Yeah.
And it's not just about them. And then it becomes that part of, you hear it all the time about how you should do a promo, how you should make your opponent look and sound good, and how you should do the same thing in a match. It's just like, it doesn't just mean cheat to win. Because otherwise, if you've got 6 matches on that card and 4 matches of those are heels going over, and 4 of those matches the heel always goes over, it's exactly. And it's repetition which exposes professional wrestling far more than Canadian Destroyers or anything else does. Bad wrestling and repetition of finishes, bookers, and characteristic traits exposes wrestling, because it means that you won't buy into anything else until this happens.
You don't believe it's you can't invest in it anymore.
Yeah.
A couple of things. St. Patrick's Day, I think that's next week. They're having a special themed TV show, even 1 week after the pay-per-view, and it looks massive. Good Brothers and John Moxley versus Eddie Kingston, Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker in a lights out unsanctioned match as the main event, I think, next week, which is the first time.
That's right.
Tony Khan did mention on his post-press scrum when someone asked about that there would be a women's main event at some point soon, so I expect something massive to happen there. I can't wait for that. Dudes, it's going to be a big show next week, and you can...
That's not the end, though, is it? We've still got 13 minutes left.
We've still got 13... It's the Inner Circle crap. So I'm assuming it'll be a big angle, but yeah.
Do you know what I would like them to do?
Go on.
I would like Jericho to bring out Sammy Guevara as taking control of the Inner Circle for a little bit to freshen things up, or something, or just something different.
I was really surprised Sammy Guevara didn't interfere in their match at the pay-per-view, but there we go.
Well, what would he have done?
Cost MJF and Jericho.
But well, that's the thing. We don't know where they're going with that. And his whole thing is that he's done. He wasn't necessarily. Do you know, what would he get from that based on the fact that he walked away? They didn't beat him up, and him looking for revenge. He walked away on his own terms. So there's not really any reason for him to interfere.
For him to do it. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Let's go through.
That's a WWE thing. That is the kind of thing.
Maybe
that
so.
WWE
Yeah,
would do.
maybe so, man. Maybe so. Darby needs to put on muscle mass. I think he will at some point a bit, but it's a bit like Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy didn't need to put on muscle mass, but eventually did. At the minute, Darby's got intention in his moves, and as long as you've got intention, it works for me. 2 former Hall of Fame classes this year. It's certain both are WrestleMania week. It's WWE, so I bet it's same night too. I'm not sure that's for the best. I don't think so, man. I think that's going to be hella boring. Don't like outside interference on a regular basis. Agree. He is skinnier than my leg. When I see someone and think, yeah, I could beat them up, it doesn't work for me. That's fair enough, Jeremy. That's fair enough. Bryan and Punk did not have the best physics but their believable style made up for it, similar with Darby. Yeah, so that's the thing. If you can believe Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar, then why couldn't you believe Darby Allin versus Scorpio Sky?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Still double the size of Darby. Yeah, but again, that's the point. Brock is
that
triple the size
jackass style
of...
character, is the fact that he can suffer all of those things.
Yeah.
You know, but he's just double tough. And, you do get people like that in real life. You know?
This match helps Scorpio and Darby to put each other over. Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed.
It was amazing.
Agreed.
Jeremy, you and Vince McMahon have such a good connection. You would both love big sweaty men and obsessed with guys' muscles. All good. CM Punk, I believe, is one of the best of all time, along with Daniel Bryan. It's not so much about size, but you've got to believe these guys can beat you up. If I'd seen Darby, I'd assume I could beat him up. Okay, I see what you're saying in terms, because Darby isn't the same as CM Punk as Daniel Bryan, but Darby versus Scorpio Sky is less of a difference than CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar.
So we now got the Inner Circle in the ring right now.
I'm so far behind. Sorry, we'll get to all your comments after the show, my dudes.
Yeah, stick around for after the show so we can review it and go through the questions. And
Absolutely.
we'll probably have some questions for you guys as well.
Absolutely. A new member.
Chris is wearing a light shirt tonight.
There's a lot of light on that.
Everyone else is wearing dark.
Yeah. MJF's talking about letting somebody go.
Hey!
Here he comes out.
About 3 to 4 weeks, Tony.
Yeah, and then walked into Impact and walked straight back out because he wasn't happy with the booking. That should have been organised before he went there, though, man.
It was.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. It's just that he didn't like it for whatever things, or maybe there was a lack of communication there.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't get how that situation occurred.
No.
He should have known, but maybe there were some things on the day that changed.
Well, apparently, from what I heard, he went in, but there was no story being told. There's
no way
cleared.
Khan would have agreed.
Without it being, I would have thought that.
Yeah, because the whole idea is you've got to, for those in the promotional things, because you're not going to take chances, you know?
No. Dudes, we've got 18 people watching. Thank you so much. But only 16 likes. Who's sus? Who is sus? Hit that like
Thank you to everyone for joining us. And if you haven't already done so, hit that like, hit subscribe, ring that bell.
And please do check out Eve Pro Wrestling. The links are in the description. We'll talk more.
Or Pro Wrestling Eve, as it says above my name. Written by Ant himself.
I can't say it. I'm watching too much. Pro Wrestling Eve. It's because of it. It's because your YouTube channel is called Eve Riot Girls of Wrestling.
Yeah, the name is Eve.
It's Eve, all right.
Eve.
Check out Eve. I'll get your name right eventually. What's he doing backstage? What's he doing? Oh, he set up that meeting. So this is a couple of weeks back where MJF pushed away the camera crew. Nice. Continual storytelling.
Sort the audio out, boys.
Using arena audio, not the...
Well, they haven't turned off the mics in the arena, have
That's
they?
right, yeah. They want the audience reaction.
Yeah.
Was that tonight then? Oh, Santana and Ortiz.
They're not going to do it. Will they?
Oh, it looks like Chris Jericho's look.
They're gonna hit on MJF.
Is this the Inner Circle turning face? Nicely done. Nicely done. Let us know what you think about this in comments, guys.
Oh, I like this because it just embarrasses WWE's storytelling of you don't know what happens until they turn up the following week.
Yeah. Pushing over MJF. The big swerve, the nice swerve, the Inner Circle, stand tall. You're fired. The crowd are going crazy for it. This is great.
The thing is, you can't have a big beat down and have Jericho slot beat a baby, so there's got to be something else happening.
Oh, let's take
you can have one person hit him. or two people, or a couple of finishes after one another.
Oh, he's built his own faction. He's built his own
faction. His own one. This is what I said. This is what I was like. This is not going to happen. He has to have a group coming to save him.
Who's it going to be, Dan? Who's it going to be?
Wardlow will be one of them.
Yeah.
Eric Rowan? No, because that'll make Wardlow look tiny.
Oh, we are in blackout, guys, right now. The lights have come on. It's Wardlow.
Oh, it's the Horseman.
It's the Horseman.
Okay, I'm here for this.
Nice.
Oh, shit. Oh, his hand. Oh.
Oh. Chairs breaking down. The 4 Horsemen now versus the Inner Circle. I am down for this, man.
Yeah.
With MJF being the Ric Flair of the 4 Horsemen. Yes, please. Yes, please. Oh.
Really? Okay.
The what, sorry?
Nearly on that, but they saved it. That could be. Which is smart, because you need to get the big guy out. So them getting rid of Jake Hager with a broken bottle over the head.
Yeah. Handcuffing Santana and Ortiz now. A lot of handcuffs in wrestling at the minute, Dan.
Too many. Yeah, this is the thing, like, especially if you're on mainstream TV, you do need to be aware of what the other show's doing so that you don't replicate it.
You know, I know that they've done 5v5 here, and that's why they've put Sean Spears in. But I'd kind of rather it without him.
I really like Sean Spears. I think
he's
this is
great.
exactly where he should be.
Right, I think he's great, Dan, but
where else do you put him?
Well, I don't know what you do, but I'd rather a 4-man faction with the 4 Horsemen. Oh, the pile driver. Onto the broken glass that's all over the ring. Dude, thank you all so much. Let us know what you think of this as we go through chat. Do you enjoy the fact that it's the 5v5? Do you wish the 4 Horsemen were 4? Be awesome to hear. Do you appreciate Tully attacking with the 4 Horsemen while MJF looks on? Can't wait to read all of your opinions at the end of the show. MJF and Jericho now. Big angle. Dynamite Diamond again. But I don't know if that was a great visual.
Not really. I thought the punch was the forearm more than it was this part.
Yeah.
Rather than, taking a big and...
I understand protecting Jericho, but at the same time, and now bladed. Bladed off the forearm, done.
Nice. The nice little detail there.
Yeah.
That's why he was wearing white.
There we go, guys.
That's why he was wearing white.
He does look a bit like Fabio, though.
Something.
I was giving MJF a kiss. Reminding him of the good times I had once. Bash to the head of Jericho. Wish you'd gone for it a little bit more, Dan. It feels like they had everything in place and it just came a little bit short.
Like there just wasn't enough, or the timing, or whatever it was.
From the chair shot.
Oh, it's not done yet.
Yeah.
Gonna get their swinging it off the table, off the thing into a table.
A leg and a wing to see the king. Oh, it's Wardlow. But the important visual, Dan, was the picking him up, throwing him into the mattresses. The important visual, Dan, was that ring punch and got it so wrong. I mean, good. I like the little swerve. I thought it was nice. I don't think we expected it to go that way until we saw Jericho dressed in that way. Not sure if they needed the big spot, especially with that high angle cam, because you can see the padding. There's a few missed opportunities in that, I feel, Dan, for such a big storyline that's been building up for weeks.
There's something about well, do you know what? There's just something about Tully, Sean Spears, and FTR being a part of it that I'm not quite feeling. But at the same time, I'm like, well, you can't have, loads of factions running around. You know, like yet. I mean, eventually we're building up to those trios titles.
Mm-hmm.
And I, for one, I'm here all day for the trios titles.
100%. I think that should have probably been announced before the TNT title, to be perfectly honest. Personally.
No, because it's business, isn't it? TNT won a title.
Oh, yeah. Well, you could have called the trio titles the TNT. The TNT triples. There we go.
No, that sounds...
Dude, marketing. I got it. TNT triples. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm going to bash through some of your comments. We'll do a quick review. And thank you all so much for joining us. We've had loads of people join us tonight, like 15. If you could like the video, it really helps out. Eve Pro Wrestling. Eve, shit. All right, calm down. Eve, go check them out, man. Links in the description. We do a watch along. Like, if you enjoyed me and Dan talking, it seems like Dan's becoming quite a regular part of this, and which is cool.
I'm digging AEW. AEW. It's different. It's different to WWE. I don't care. We both know my feelings with regards to WWE's style and structure of format and of shows, but I'm digging AEW. If anything, it is different, and they are presenting some things that I'm digging. So
great. Well, so like I say, subscribe to his channel, and then you can see a little bit more of what we're talking about, because Dan does frequently talk about Eve. Obviously, it's his promotion, as well as XWA. But if you subscribe to that channel, turn on notifications. Like, there might be time you're in, you can just watch some different type of wrestling, and you'll sort of understand more where Dan's coming from at times, I feel. Which might help out. Lights out match next week with Baker and Rosa main eventing. Holy crap, says Matthew McFadden. Hello, my dude. Welcome. I agree. I can't wait.
I thought you were going to go through the rest of the comments.
I am, but I want your feedback on that one.
Oh, right. What was the comment again?
Lighthouse match, Baker and Rosa main eventing next week. I mean,
yes.
Wow.
It's going to be good. I mean, I'm assuming we're going to get a stunt fest with that as well, which will be the first time that we've had a stunt show in a women's match in AEW that I can recall.
Maybe you could go Nyla Shida was a little bit...
yes, that was. But I'm assuming the thing about them saying a lights out match is the last time they did a lights out match, wasn't that...
Moxley and Omega.
Moxley and Omega. So when you're following that, when you've already set the standard that is what a lights out match means, then you kind of have to assume that that's what you're going to get with Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. The issue, the potential problem that they may have is something that I've spoken about on this stream before, which is television has different rules when it comes to violence against women, even if it's from women onto women, than it does male on male. And so we're going to find out a lot as to how TNT, operate as a company with how much they allow.
That's going to be exciting.
I mean, it may not be a TNT call, but again, there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that often gets, put onto the promotions. Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? Part of the intergender stuff with WWE isn't actually their fault. It's to do with how male-on-female violence is presented and thought of in society, especially when you think about, for example, the charity that we raised money for recently, which was, to do with sexual abuse. And that includes, like, domestic abuse and things of that nature. And in this era where context doesn't seem to be, as key as people jumping down people's throats, it's going to cause people to be a little bit more apprehensive and defensive on a global scale and on a mainstream scale as opposed to on an independent show. And I myself have had people try to shut down one of my shows because we featured an intergender match on there. So it is something I've experienced. It does exist. It happens on television. So I'll be interested to see how far they can go. The other issue is this is a lights out match on TV, where again, there are more restrictions than a lights out match on pay-per-view, which is what I believe the Moxley match was previously.
It was, yeah, Full Gear.
So therefore, there's another issue there in a sense. So how much can they follow? I don't know. But by calling it a lights out match, I have a feeling that they must feel confident that they can follow it, because otherwise you're setting yourself up to fail. Because when you say lights out, that's what our mind goes back to. That's the story you've told us that a lights out match means.
Well, Dan, I mean, we've got people in chat right now. Jeff and Joey, Joey certainly, and I think Jeff to a point as well, got back into wrestling because of that match. They saw that match and went, this is something that reminds me of that sort of 97 era of wrestling when I was younger, watching, what have you. And they got back into wrestling for that match. And that's two guys that are in chat now, so it'd be awesome to hear your comments, which I'll get to one day, maybe Friday. But with the amount of
we're going to get to them tonight, don't we?
but dudes, like that must feel like a big thing. And I hope that they do push it as much as they can. And even if they get a bollocking from TNT, which is something we might be talking about in 2 weeks' time, let's see them do something, because you have put that stipulation on it and you have to go the full way, man.
Yeah, if you've told us a story that a lights out match equals this kind of level of plunder, then you have to kind of follow that up.
Yeah.
There's no going back. You can only go forwards. You can keep at that level. That's fine. No one's asking you to cut someone's head off.
No.
But you do need to keep a level that when you have a match, it means this.
Yeah.
And they've chosen that lights out. They didn't say no disqualification. They haven't said last woman standing. They've gone with lights out.
Yeah. I feel like we might be disappointed in this slightly when we look at that.
I have a feeling we may be, but at the same time, I've worked with Thunder Rosa. I've worked with Britt Baker. If there's a level of disappointment, the fault will not fall on either of their shoulders, and there may be outside forces.
Yeah, it'll be what they're allowed to do. But by calling it a lights out, you could have called it a hardcore match. You could have called it a strip brawl, no DQ.
If they've called it lights out, we've got to have.
Lights out.
We've got to go into it assuming that we're going to get that level of plunder.
And bearing in mind, Moxley Omega was crawling through glass. It was barbed wire baseball bats. It was barbed wire contraptions on the outside. That was what we got with a lights out match. The reason it was a light out match was because anything went, and it wouldn't even count to the win-loss record.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they're setting themselves up for something bad. But at the same time, it's going to be wonderful seeing them both main event a show. So I'm dead pleased for both of them. Right, bash through some comments. They're putting the women's match as the main event next week. I think that's a first. It is indeed. Darren, the thing is, you would get destroyed by Darby in real life because you are too tall to win the fight. Height and muscles tend to be a disadvantage as it's more weight you can carry a bigger guy. I guess this Darby Allin conversation continues. Wow, unsanctioned next week. Rosa and Baker main event next week. I know, I can't wait.
I don't know how much I agree with that comment personally, but it's like as someone that it's not as straightforward as that, but generally, we just had a big UFC show at the weekend where Israel Adesanya attempted to move up to light heavyweight, moving up from middleweight at 185, going up to 205. He was actually taller. Although this is an interesting fact, Israel Adesanya was actually taller than his opponent, Jan Blachowicz. Blachowicz, however, did have the weight advantage. He was certainly a lot more wider. And going into the cage, Israel Adesanya, would have probably gone in because they do the weigh-ins the previous day. So the weight cutting happens up to the previous day. And then, of course, they're able to rehydrate and put some of that normal weight back on. Israel Adesanya weighed in at 200.5 pounds. So that means that and the 205 is the weight limit. Normally what happens is heavier fighters will cut weight to make that weight limit, and then they'll put that weight back on or put a degree of weight back on so they go into the cage a lot bigger. Israel Adesanya was the opposite. He is someone that was smaller and therefore couldn't even put on enough weight to hit that 205. And so he would have gone into the cage probably around 200 pounds, 200 and 2. That was kind of like just his normal weight. Meanwhile, Jan Blachowicz would have gone into that fight around 220 pounds. maybe 225. And the fact of the matter is, Blachowicz won that fight, but it was on decision, and they both won 2 rounds each, and it came down to the last round. So the whole, who wins between a big guy and a little guy isn't always as straightforward as one person may say. I saw someone was also talking about weight divisions. Weight divisions is something that we used to have in wrestling here in the UK. The problem was we had too many weight divisions because you were treating it like a legitimate fight, which meant that you had, weight divisions at 125, 135, 145, 155, 170, 185, 205. Heavyweights, 260 limit, and that's just UFC. The actual British wrestling, we had other things. We had middleweight, super middleweight, we had all of these things, and that is trying to build a division around all of those is very, very difficult. But it also, the psychology is about, a weight and size advantage, having issues, but also the smaller guys being able to just have that longer gas tank. And, so it was all about trying to play things even. Wrestling, there has to be some give and take on levels of believability and things that you buy into, because it is character based and you can't have, that many characters in. The other thing why we also had so many titles is there were so many shows happening in the UK, far more than WWE have ever run in a day, from one promotion. We're talking 60 to 70 shows from one promotion in a day.
Mad, innit?
Every day. And so they would need to have a load of titles and a load of champions, to work those circuits. But yeah, it's a very complex. I get what people are saying. I get both arguments. It is a very complex situation.
Jake does point out Demetrius Johnson as well, 5'2" as well. So another example there from Jake. We'll move on from that. We'll go to Raymond, who says, I agree with you about interference being bad in general, but it's all often a part of storyline. Heels cheat, so heels have associates who interfere, and the story is how the face diffuse that threat. You're exactly right, Raymond, but I feel it's the problem is it's overused.
Yeah, so, that's my issue. It's the consistent usage.
An interference should feel as big as a heel turn. It should be, oh, what is happening to this babyface? They're getting cheated out of this, and we should have emotion to it. And the problem is, because it's used so much, we don't have it. Matthew, the main event in the show, I
don't know if I agree that it should feel like a heel turn, but it should definitely.
It should have more. What I'm on about is we should have more investment in it than we do.
We should have more investment of it instead of constantly expecting it and therefore not buying into, pretty much a lot of things that we've seen before.
Yeah.
It should certainly feel like it means something.
Yeah. And it
that's
doesn't.
The problem. I feel like it doesn't.
It's wrestling in general. It's a bigger. Yeah. It's not just WWE, AEW. It is wider wrestling.
But WWE were the people that bastardized it and used it so much, and then people copied WWE because WWE is super popular and super successful. Yeah. So we're going to do exactly what WWE do. Yeah. And then what it does is it causes lazy story writing at times instead of. And screwy finishes, which are just shite. The St. Patrick Day's event should be called Bloody Sunday. I think they'd get in trouble for that.
I think they might do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think there's weight classes in any sport? Well, that's the reason, obviously, but we've also got to remember it's not competitive as well, so it's difficult with wrestling.
No, but the story is that it is competitive.
Yeah.
So we do have
to. I get that point. Yeah. Yeah, but then are you going to complain about Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar? And
but that's part of the storytelling aspect of where we have to, again, what I was saying earlier, we have to kind of blur those lines.
Suspend the disbelief
at
to
times
the point.
With wrestling.
Yeah, and suspending disbelief isn't an excuse for everything, but that, I think weight classes would be one thing that we have to. If not, we're going to get the same matches all the time.
Where I do, I do have problems with is when you get Rey Mysterio versus The Big Show.
Mm-hmm.
I do struggle with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people make, similarities between Riho and Nyla Rose. It's just that is not the same thing. That isn't even close to the same thing.
No.
But anyway, we digress.
Sammy G's been out for 2 weeks now, says Raymond. He's been out even longer. It feels like 4 or 5 weeks now. It was a while before.
Maybe 4 or 5. Yeah. It's not like a long time.
No, but long enough to make a nice impact on tonight. What's the guy? So Jeremy says about Marco Stunt. Could he beat Bobby Lashley in a fight? Ginger, no. Come on. Yeah, but the thing is, he's not going against Bobby Lashley. And if he was going against Bobby Lashley, he'd get demolished. I mean, that's the point. And the Marco Stunt doesn't win against these people. He's just an entertaining jobber with a character, really, and that's fine and that's cool. And he brings that to it.
Yeah, the presentation of Marco Stunt isn't that he can do that.
No.
A bit like it's not like he's being presented like Spike Dudley was in ECW as this giant killer.
No,
who was off his head on LSD.
What Marco Stunt can do for Jurassic Express is turn that swing the other way, so he can make the seesaw go one way by a little action that he does in the match, and that's what he's like. He's almost a sort of supporting character to Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, and that's actually the right way to use him. I mean. You know, Alan Gibbons, Jake and Jeremy's debates is so funny. No, it's all cool. Look, hey man, Jeremy and Jake know each other so well. They know they wind each other up and they do it on purpose. But they are talking about something that is worth talking about ultimately, and it's two sides of a very good argument. And you know, Sammy's back. Yes, he was. Well, that sounds dumb, Jeremy. Blah blah. Why would they turn this into? I kept thinking Jericho was going to leave for a while. You're fired reference, Vince. Yeah, that was funny. I enjoyed the turn at the end. I didn't expect that to be the case.
Yeah, I mean, I did say that at the start that I would have Guevara come down and be with Jericho.
Yeah.
You know, I did feel that was the way. As again, I pointed out like the white shirt meant something. Usually that is a babyface thing. Jericho is very about the details.
Yeah.
What I did not, and someone else did get, is I didn't expect his group to be FTR and Sean Spears.
Mm-hmm.
I expected them to be their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is. I don't know if I like it yet. But I also don't feel as though. I mean, I just feel like there could have been other people to bring up, but at the same time, you don't have room for everyone,
and
not everyone can get on TV and have a feud. So I don't know, therefore, where FTR and Sean Spears would go, and they are a faction, and you got this awkward thing. So I completely understand why they did it.
Mm-hmm.
They will be a tremendous faction, is the thing, because MJ. You know, and it's actually, when you think about it, MJF is that charismatic leader, the tag team of FTR, and then Wardlow, the young guy, the Sid
Spears.
Justice.
Yeah.
You know, Barry Windham of the group.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like it makes sense. The logic is there.
It is all there indeed. Physique Sheiks, I told you MJF was going to be the Four Horsemen. Yes, I called it 3 weeks ago. It had to be someone big to make it work. It was either going to be MJF. It was going to be Adam Page. It had to be someone that meant something, and it absolutely is, and that's cool. Absolutely cool. Jeremy, the big guy, was trained sumo fighter. Yes. Inner Circle versus Four Horsemen, blood and guts match.
Oh yeah. I can feel that's a great. Is that what you're thinking?
Jack.
Or someone?
Jack said it.
Jack said, I think that's a great call. So I think that's a great call, because we both know they're going to want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And US seems to be opening up a lot more at the moment. And I could absolutely see them going down it. And I think that's a great call by Jack.
I think it depends for me. I think it's interesting. It depends how Inner Circle are over the next few weeks. It depends how the audience takes to it. It depends how they're performing. Are they going to be? Because I think, you know me, I don't mind grey, but I also like face versus heel as well. And I also, it depends how Inner Circle turn that around. And I think they can, but it's not about Jericho, because I know he can, and I know Sammy can.
Yeah.
It's about the other three in the faction that is my sort of question. And actually, the other blood and guts match that would make sense at some point would be Impact versus AEW. Could be a big deal.
Yeah, which has played, a lot of that's played down more. There seems to be more of that going on in Impact than it does on AEW.
It absolutely does. Absolutely.
But at the same time, Impact are going to benefit more from it than what AEW are.
AEW benefit in different ways as well with Impact's relationship with India and their sort of size in India and stuff like that. So they are both benefiting from this, and that's everyone works together. Hey, we've both got a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, true that.
Working together, we help each other, and we have a community. You know.
Yeah.
Spears was gone for a bit. Remember how he was with Tully at the start? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I like the 4-4, but I understand Inner Circle 5, so...
Yeah.
No, the Resgal... At the Resgal, there would be tables and barbed wire. At Dailies, you would get water bottles and duct tape. I think Raymond's calling the lights out match next week. Raymond seems really off AEW at the minute.
Raymond's also absolutely bang on about the Resgal. Yeah, you would get the tables and the barbed wire. It's a Pandora's box of goodies is the Resgal. You never know. And it was something that we hit on Monday night as well, that Jeddah said. You know, like everything goes missing at the Resgal, and then you find just the most random things. I think Jeddah said something along the lines of the Resgal is the only venue where you go to the ring to find the stuff that you lost last time. You know, like it's normally it's the backstage where you find your things. No, it's anything can happen at the Resgal.
I can't wait to head down there, man. It's going to be a party.
Yeah,
for what I saw of it, the Derby Scorpion match was the best of the night. Yeah, we'll do a review later, but I mean, yeah, it was great. Jeremy says, my name is Anne, and I think Jeremy is garbage and AEW is far superior. Yes, that is correct. Joey says, big fan of the ending of the show. Yeah, it missed something for me, but we'll talk about that in the review, I think. I have to disagree. Ferrari going 100 miles per hour beats a range going over 1 mile per hour. I'm lost I'm guessing that's to do with weight, but that speed is something different to weight, I think. Thunder Rosa is a champion of we could do anything men can do, and she may be pushing hard for a bloody women's match. If Dan knows Thunder Rosa, is Thunder Rosa pushing for a bloody
I can certainly see Thunder Rosa pushing for something along those lines. Again, it'll come down to what will TNT allow a woman to bleed on TV?
Britt got a legit broken nose during a match with blood everywhere, and TNT didn't shut down. Okay.
Yeah, but that was an accident.
Nah.
And it was live.
No, it wasn't live. That was filmed during the pandemic things that happened at the Nightmare Factory. So do you know that 6 weeks of things?
Oh, okay. So
and that was about the fourth week in. So it wasn't live.
That could be fine. That could be fine then. But another side is a difference between a bloody nose and a blade.
Okay, yeah. It makes sense. You were saying about scissors earlier being the thing.
Exactly. Well, no, but what I mean is the blading is kind of a known thing. Mm-hmm. And a bloody nose, with blood streaming down there, is very different to a cut up here and blood streaming down the face. Mm-hmm. The visual is very, very different.
Right. Okay.
And one thing that will happen is there will be complaints. The question is whether or not TNT are in a situation where they can deal with it. Because we live in a situation now where everyone is bloody Mary Whitehouse and is getting offended by something. So there will be people that get offended by seeing a woman bleed.
Yeah.
Even though the context is it's a fight against another woman.
Yeah.
But that is potentially a thing. It may not be, and you could be absolutely bang on, but this is how television works.
Yeah.
Like when I did a TV show just prior to we shut down. We were on BBC One. BBC One, we were on a show that was watched by 4 million people. And they brought us on as a wrestling promotion to do wrestling moves. And when we get there, we're told, oh, no, you can't actually hit them, though. What do you mean we can't hit them? Well, that's not allowed at this. Exactly. So you brought a wrestling promotion on to do wrestling, but you won't let us hit one another. So I had to devise a match. And then it was also like, oh, but you can't show any kind of suffering. It's like, right. So I had to devise, not a match as such, but I had to devise a segment where we couldn't do any of those things. World of Sport was the British wrestling show that led to the creation of NXT UK. Mm-hmm. Go back, because I believe most of the episodes are on Fight, and I believe they're free. And if they are the same versions that was aired on TV over here, you will see there's hardly any impact actually shown. They keep going to the audience. Mm-hmm. They booked a ladder match for a TV show that couldn't show any ladder matches. That hasn't been done since SummerSlam 95.
Bearing in mind that was also shown in the daytime over in the UK as well.
Well, depends on what week it was.
Yeah, well, it was all over the place.
You know, it was all over the place.
Hey, if you want to watch someone do a watch along of them, you can find them out in our archives at some point in the channel.
Did you
as
do
well.
watch alongs?
Yeah,
for World of Sport.
Yeah, well, for the first 7 episodes, I mean, because I was talking to Rich about it actually, who helped produce World of Sport. And one of the best episodes I did, I think, was the 8th episode where it was like a battle royal or something, and that was when they had more freedom with stuff.
The women's battle royal.
No, it was the men's one.
Oh no, that was earlier, wasn't it? The women's battle royal.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
there were changes to that as well, but
yeah.
Oh, did you hear about them?
No, I haven't heard about them once.
All right, okay. Well, anyway, we'll
have a chat later. Have a great night, guys. Thank you. Yeah, also let Matt Hardy head smack concrete and kept going, Jeff. Yeah, no, I 100% agree. That was unprofessional and a mess. Ant, you were 100% correct. We love that Omega and Moxley match. Been watching every week since. And that's the thing. You're saying to Jeff and Joey, hey, dudes, we got you into wrestling. Lights out match. Let's have another one. And is it going to be? Who knows? But I'm excited to see it. God, I'm so excited I got back into wrestling because of AEW. Good feeds. I mean, a lot of people are the same. Jeff and Joey are the same, man. That late 90s style. Borshaw Tour. Hello. Lovely to... Borshawn Tour. Lovely to see you. Your image does look like a pair of breasts, actually. MJF version of the 4 Horsemen, but there is Wardlow also versus Inner Circle at Double or Nothing Stadium Stampede match. Oh, Stadium Stampede match.
The other option.
Maybe that could be more fun for them as well. It depends how Jericho's playing the face. Oh, yeah.
It depends on the situation of allowances, I'm sure. Remember, we only got that because they couldn't do Blood and Guts.
In Ireland, we fear light bulbs. I don't know what that means. Bloody Sunday, yeah. God, we are so behind. Rosa and Baker lights out match is pretty brutal, but if they put half of what we saw in Omega versus Mox at Full Gear, yeah, and that's the problem. Are people going to be satisfied with half Borshawn Tour? That's what we've discussed in depth. MJF version of the 4 Horsemen could be awesome. Agreed. I'm not sure that the mass follows the same rules, but Rocky Marciano, for example, of the shorter but better fighter, cool. And yes, the constant interference from the original 4 Horsemen woman got weak fast. There we go.
Any consistent interference, if it's all the time.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to hate Jimmy Hart. Not in the I want to see him get his ass kicked. I didn't even like it when he'd get his ass kicked.
Yeah.
I just hated the fact that it's like, great, Jimmy Hart's in the match. That means there's going to be interference. And that is an 8 and 9-year-old already had like that kind of go away heat. And I was just like, it just got to the point where I just didn't like to watch any matches that he was in.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Instead of it being heat, I want to see him get his ass kicked. It was, I'm going to go into the other room and do something. I'm going to fast forward this match. And that's not the right kind of heat.
No.
And that's because of the repetition of it.
Where is our nipple game? Is that still a thing? We can do one at the very end of the stream. Absolutely, Jeremy. We'll just get a review done and then we'll do one of them and the secret stream because we have a lot of fun on them. Big problems with AEW is so many interferences after matches. Yes, it's a problem in wrestling at the minute.
It's a problem in wrestling, yeah.
Nipples never happen, and that's not to defend AEW because AEW are just as bad as the others at doing it. Maybe not as WWE, but they are doing it.
I definitely don't feel they're as bad as WWE because usually, unless it's someone like a Bobby Lashley, if a villain is winning, there's going to be something dodgy, and it doesn't necessarily. They'll either be really obvious cheating or outside interference. They don't allow villains to win, because they're talented. I hate that.
There we go. Worst interference tonight was from the NBA game audio. We didn't get that at all. No.
Fight TV got us covered.
Yeah. Jeremy, he can hold it because he doesn't want to lose every time. Yeah, the nipples game's hard to in AEW because we don't get adverts generally. And when I've got Dan on, we're just talking too much anyway. Noses are relatively easy to break too. Think that factors into Dr. Britt Baker's issues brought up. No difference between the blade, bloody nose and a blade. Not buying it. Britt had blood all over her face. How do you mean, Jeff? What do you mean no difference? I think the difference is that was an accident as opposed to an intentional injury. I think that's what we're getting at.
I'd also say there's a difference between nose, like I say, in the forehead.
Yeah.
And bleeding all over the face,
Yeah. Yeah, even though that can...
Or covering the head.
I think in wrestling, because we don't see that as often. Like the... who is it in yours that ended up... Was it Mateo? Laura Di Matteo?
Laura Di Matteo. Yeah, and I'm independent, though.
Yeah. You can do what you want, yeah. Wonderful thumbnail on him on YouTube. In fact, they made a T-shirt out of a bloody face, and it became
Andrew
one of the iconic images.
style.
Yeah. No, it's all good. But lest we forget, Jeff, that the T-shirt is not TNT. That's the sort of difference, really. The T-shirt isn't TNT; it's not the product. And obviously, there was it was based on the Kiss T-shirt, which is great. Anyway, I love that T-shirt. I'm hearing NXT was amazing. Nice, man. Good. Watch that tomorrow, Jakey baby. God, I hate Mary Whitehouse. I don't know why. Dan, who's your favourite wrestler of all time?
Bret Hart, probably.
Best there is, best there was.
Probably. Certainly was growing up. But I don't like doing favourites because it takes so many people. But growing up, it was Bret Hart.
Right. Yeah, I struggle because I was a Mick Foley guy, but right now I'm like Kenny Omega's, man. He's just blowing it away.
Kenny Omega's outstanding.
Just amazing. MJF Horseman versus Inner Circle at Double or Nothing Stadium Campede. That's what they are taking these two, I guess. Could be that Sean Tour. And thank you so much for joining us. Hope you're having a great day. It could be that. It could be Blood and Guts. We've made a few allusions to that. Jeff is driving home now. He can't respond, and then Jeff responds. The blood effect is the same, though. Yes, the blood is the same in terms of showing it. It's just about how you get the blood. Obviously, nothing... That was a knee to the face.
The visuals are different. Yeah. And it is, how you get the blood and what the visual is.
Yeah.
It's very, very different. It's like, for example, Eddie Guerrero bleeding in that match against JBL is very different than Eddie Guerrero bleeding in, any other match.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And so there are going to be limits, just like there are going to be limits on how much blood how much blood there is in a movie is going to affect what the rating is at the cinema or on TV, and that's the same thing here. There are repercussions to the level of violence and the level of blood that one sees. And those repercussions are generally harder, and the rules are generally harder. And like I say, I've worked in television. These are both as a producer and as someone that's just been brought in to do features, on numerous shows. These are things. This isn't me talking, I got told this. This is me talking as someone with experience in doing this. So these are actual things that people, will encounter. But it changes from station to station, from platform to platform.
So it's up to TNT. But I think Jeff brings up a wonderful point of the Hikaru Shida Britt Baker nose match, in that was pre-filmed, and I
he does bring up a brilliant point.
That's like, it's like at some point TNT had seen that footage and said okay, and so that is interesting, Jeff. So we'll have to see where it goes, man. I think it's fascinating, but I can't wait to watch it with you all next week. I can't wait. Jeff, don't you be using your phone while driving. Jeff clearly pulled over and looked after himself. And Jeff, if Jeff driving after them bloody left-handed cigarettes as well, I will be telling you off. Dan, the right answer is Sasha Banks for your favourite wrestler. Sasha Banks is good. Jeremy, now the right answer is Ray Fenix. Yes, Ray Fenix is a better wrestler than Sasha Banks, Jeremy.
Ray Fenix right now is on fire.
He is.
He is. Absolutely on fire.
One big difference. Do you know when we do our top 10 list at the end of the year of favourite wrestlers, Sasha Banks is going to be number 10 and Ray Fenix is going to be number 9. No matter how good a year they have, that's what I'm going to do just to annoy the shit out of you. One big difference between Blade and Bloody Nose is the horrible four-letter word fake. Brett and Laura's Bloody Noses were real, albeit accidentally. This has been an interesting chat. I'm sorry we've not got to review yet, but it's just nice engaging with you all. Not to be starting a debate, but I realise you've worked in television, but have you worked in American television? What are examples of wrestling wrestling being fined for violence? Love the show. Thank you, Joey. Great question. Dan, you've worked with Ring of Honor.
Basically, it's exactly the same. It's all down to the network and what their rules are, and a lot of that is down to what platform they're on. For example, there are differences between cable and non-cable, for example. So it all really comes down to, not like a lot of people always assume it's just down to what time you're broadcasting. It's not always as simple as that. You know, like, there are different rules on different platforms.
Yeah.
And that's the same in the States as what it is over here.
I don't know if you noticed tonight, Dan, but Kenny Omega made a sexual reference, quite a heavily sexual reference.
So, yes, it was a very heavy.
I mean, he mentioned a 69 on TV, and I don't know if you noticed, but that was just after the hour. Now, yeah. I'd assume that hour does AEW start at 8?
AEW starts at 8, and that moment happened after 9.
I wonder if there's a reason for that. I wonder if he's holding on for that.
It's
interesting.
The fact that it's after 9 o'clock because it'll be a main event also would be in effect as to what they can do, because we do have. I can't remember if it's called the watershed over in the States like it is over here in the UK, but that is what we have of what the things that you can do after X time. That exists, across all of television. So, there won't be any, that'll have been done on purpose, one would imagine.
I think so, but I didn't notice that because I checked the time. The other thing that we've got to take into account with this, Joey, is, yes, we have seen violence and blood on TV. Let's look at the Brody Lee, Cody Rhodes strap match. Absolutely, that was a bloody match. However, again, we have to remember this is involving women, and the network's views on that might be different. So I think it's very exciting, and there's lots to talk about, but we'll see next week, and I'm excited to see next week.
Yeah.
Jeff laid off the left-handed 6 tonight. Good to hear it. You drive safely, Jeffy, baby. Ray Fenix is, as if you're just driving home and you're like, I'm still going to listen to him. This is awesome. Thank you. Ray Fenix is pretty much indestructible. He took 2 Canadian drivers in 15 seconds and wrestled 10 more minutes. Iron Ray Fenix. Yes. Sasha's my favourite, Dan. And everyone here says her, and Ray Fenix stars are the same. So how can I like one and not the other? They're very different. Here's one for you, Dan. I'd compare Sasha to Kenny Omega, right? I know, yeah, right. In that, I think Sasha, in terms of WWE especially, is always taking risks, which Kenny Omega always does. The difference is
on that aspect, yeah.
The difference is Sasha's risks don't pay off as often. So you always see something, and that's what I really like about Sasha Banks. You don't see the same shit from her all the time, and there's so many wrestlers you see that from. Sasha really sort of tries to innovate in a company that we know pushes against innovation.
Here's the thing. Sasha just fucked off from WWE and went to Japan to train with Meiko Satomura.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, do you not know about that?
No, I didn't know that. So when was this? Was this...
about 2 years ago, I reckon it was.
You're talking about I didn't know that at all.
Yeah,
I don't know if people know that, by the way, Dan.
She just disappeared.
There was a whole depression thing. It was after the tag team. Actually, she lost the tag titles at WrestleMania. Dean did a documentary about it. I did not know she went to Japan and trained with Itoh Satomura.
No, she was just like, and Meiko Satomura is Sasha's wrestling hero.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That is her dream. So she just was like, I'm going.
Right.
And she did. She fucked off to Japan and trained with Meiko, and that caused a lot of heat. People weren't necessarily heat and angry at her, but there was just more some issues on the basis that Sasha was seemingly being allowed to get away with a lot of things, whereas hammers were coming down on other talent for minuscule things. In comparatively in how it felt like. No one felt bad. No one was angry at Sasha. Do you know what I mean? They were just upset at the level of difference in how people were being trained. I think a lot of people admired Sasha. I think a lot of people wish they could do what Sasha
does. Yeah. That's interesting. That's really interesting. I didn't know that at all.
I think that says a lot as well about Sasha's desire as a professional wrestler, because so many people are just like, the WWE way is the only way, because they're so indoctrinated within that system. And Sasha Banks is like, no, I'm going to go and I'm going to train and I'm going to learn from Meiko Satomura, regarded by many as the greatest wrestler in the world, regardless of gender. And the thing is, that wouldn't have been easy for her neither. Sasha Banks wanted to challenge herself. Sasha Banks wanted to be better. And I think that should always be and forever be admired, that is the kind of person that Sasha Banks is. And I think it should also be remembered by people that is the kind of mindset that Sasha Banks has. That is the kind of passion that Sasha Banks has for professional wrestling. So whatever you see, because remember I've told you before about the fact that in WWE, they rehearse their matches for the producers, and the producers give the okay on the matches. So whatever you see, isn't always necessarily gonna be what she wants to do, but she's always gonna push to try and get as much of the stuff that she does want to do in there because she has passion. And that says a lot about the kind of person. And I'd love to see an unrestricted, unfiltered Sasha Banks. Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know if you know about that, Jeremy, but if you want to watch a little bit of Miko Satomura, Eve have a wonderful match on their channel that I could not highly recommend. I couldn't recommend highlier. Words. It's 3:30 in the morning. Thanks. I could not recommend higher than the Kaylee Ray and Miko Satomura, because it's scene stealing, man. It's outstanding, and it's happening.
There's a number of Mako Satomura matches on our YouTube channel as well as of course on our on-demand channel, where there's a 7-day free trial, or possibly a 14-day. But regardless, there's a free trial on our on-demand channel. But yeah, including on our YouTube channel, there's also a match between Mako Satomura and Viper Piper Niven.
Yeah, wow.
As well. Mako Satomura was a part of the Eve roster from February 2017, right the way to 2019, basically, prior to the pandemic, basically.
Nice, man. Don Callis pulled a 69 Omega, it looked like. Yes, yeah, they did, yeah. They were dicking about
it. They called it that as well.
Yeah, they did, yeah, which is... Joey's right here. Once I heard that one dude with the rapper with the word cook in it, I figured just about all is fair game. The difference between a cook and acting out a 69 on TV is the visual aspect of it, I guess. And also, I don't know if cook is as understood as 69 is yet. Welcome to the Gimme Hull Yeah Wrestling podcast. If you're just joining us, is what I'd say. I understand the Sasha and Kenny comparison. The only difference is Kenny has psychology and does not botch moves every time and look bizarre doing moves. I can buy that Kenny knows how to fight, not Sasha. Sasha Banks is the best wrestler in the world, and that's coming from me, so you know it's true. Rock and roll. Let's do a quick review and then disappear. Cool. So first match, we had a great opener, Matt Jackson versus Rey Fenix.
Yeah, and this was actually Matt Jackson's first singles match since 2016.
Wow.
So, what a match it was.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a cracking match.
It was a tremendous job, and I really hope... Nick Jackson has faced Rey Fenix on... I think that was on Dynamite, actually.
Right.
But this was the first time that Matt's actually been in a singles match since 2016. Like I say, I hope that we get to see Pac and Nick Jackson on next week's episode.
That'd be great.
Of Dynamite. So, But yeah, incredible match. Great fun, great opener, tons of action. What more would you want?
Yeah, and Phoenix is on fire at the minute. He is like butter in that bloody ring. Like unbelievable, like a unique wrestler to watch, and isn't that what you want to be from a wrestler? Something unique and original, and Rey Fenix, I don't think you can argue, is not that. And that's great. I also, this plays into them winning the Battle Royale as well, Phoenix, and we're not going straight to the match, which is good, which is right, which is cool. And actually, I like the way that they went straight into the match on another match tonight, which was the TNT Championship match, but we'll get to that later on. Next match was Cody Rhodes versus Seth.
Before that, we had the Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley promo.
Yes, we did. Sorry.
Where they talked about the events at the end of Revolution. Kingston implied that he had a panic attack because the last time he was that scared was when he was in jail. He called out Omega, asking if it was a joke. That's what they were. They went back and forth on the idea of, Moxley's like, no, I think they were trying to blow us up. And, Kingston's like, no, they're just trying to fuck with us. Then they concluded that Impact built it.
Yeah.
The bombs. And that was...
Which was hilarious. A nice little dig, yeah.
And then the basic kudos it came to is that Moxley didn't win the title, but he did win his drinking buddy back. Mm-hmm. And, and then they hinted towards basically going for the Good Brothers.
Yeah, and we got to see the chemistry between these two, and
which was outstanding.
It was brilliant. The first time we've seen them, like I know we've seen them against each other, and we saw some cracking promos in the build up to that. But this was so fluid, and to come off the back of that pay-per-view where we was all intrigued to see what they'd do with this. I alluded earlier to what I thought they were going to do with it. I thought they were going to go. The bomb was a dud. and actually showed the rehearsal footage because they'll have done a test shot earlier on, so that they could see what it was. So I thought they'd say the bomb was a dud. This is what it was supposed to be like, or something like that.
Yeah, but then you're blood. Yeah, I mean that was an option.
My point is, I didn't know how they'd get away with it without blurring that line because the line was blurred. They sold some sparklers for God's sake, you know. Yeah. Anyway, I think they did a good job with because Kingston was down. Moxley just been with a fight, so he didn't need an excuse anyway. And I love the Kenny Omega thing. We not only did we disappoint. We wasn't disappointed because it disappointed you. Great heel work later on. Wonderful chemistry, these two. Next match was Cody Rhodes versus Seth Gargis.
It was what it was.
Squash.
It was a squash match, which is fine. I actually quite like squash matches.
Yep.
I think it's important to remind. Yeah, I think it's important. End of the day, Cody's hurt right now. You know, he needs time off, but they're showing that he's, you know, he did what he did. And the other thing that's important to, you know, remind people that, you know, these wrestlers are up here and there are people that are trying to come through and they're down here. And that's why these guys are superstars. That's why these guys are headliners. That's why these guys in AEW. And that's why these guys are, you know, aren't in that position. I think it's important to show a physical hierarchy and talent.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely agree. And yeah, the important part of this was the Pentagon and Cody Rhodes. It
was just all an excuse for Cody to be in the ring.
Yeah.
And for Penta to do his thing.
And I thought Penta come across as so charismatic, man. This is the most charismatic we've seen him in AEW. They give him a microphone. He talked. He fun. He had that weird thing that he's got. That I wouldn't say we've really seen since sort of All Out when he was because he was against Kenny in that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So that was pre-Dynamite. So we're seeing this really sort of unique character. I don't know how that fits in with Fenix and Pac, but I'm okay with it. I think Penta can stand on his own, and that's a great thing about the Lucha Bros. Both of them stand separately so well.
Yeah, and it's important to do that with people. I had to do the same thing with the Owens twins.
Yeah,
to, you know, wanted to make sure that people knew that, you know, the Owens twins may be twins, but that doesn't mean that they're, you know, tag team
together forever.
They're their own people.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and it makes the tag team stronger, you know, as well.
The whole thing as well was built on that fact. You know, they kept going on about, you know, he'd have messed up Cody's arm and shoulder a lot more had it have been like a singles match between them or something, or had Penta got more of a hold of Cody, so much so that he wouldn't be able to pick up his baby girl, which caused then the brawl on the outside there. And if you ever seen Penta before, especially in Lucha Underground, you'll know that one of the big spots that he does is where he traps one arm and then grabs the other arm, and then he falls back on it, exactly as Ant just demonstrated there. And the idea is that it separates the shoulder and potentially breaks the arm. That's the story of that move, which they got over to perfection in Lucha Underground. And it certainly seems as though we maybe going down that route here. And they certainly teased it.
Yeah, especially with that angle with the injury, definitely.
Yes.
After that, we get Sting in an interview. He does a little bit of talking. They didn't get him down to the ring. Fantastic. Just let's do it. Let's get on with it. And basically, he's interrupted by Lance Archer, who basically says, why was he going after him?
Well, before then, we actually had the Chuck Taylor Orange Cassidy.
Which we didn't really watch because I can't believe that's still going on, to be honest with you.
Well, what it was Chuck asked Miro for one more match with the added stipulation, if they lose, Chuck goes back to being Miro's butler, but this time forever. And then they added a stipulation with lots of video game machinery at ringside. Then we got onto, you know, Shivani.
Why do that after Revolution, man? Revolution was a fine end to that. Let's not dick about with this crap anymore.
Yeah, I agree that I would have been happy to have seen something else lead on afterwards.
Yeah.
And, you know, and take something going on, but it is what it is. We'll see what they've got planned. Then we went on to Shivani introducing Sting, which was really just a big promo for Sting to talk about, you know, how dangerous Darby Allin is. And it was just, you know, the rub for him before Lance Archer and Jake Roberts came out. It was really just Archer going on, if things don't change, he's going to take much more than time. They left, and Jake said a little something, which I can't remember. And that was that. But you know what? there's history. I hit this earlier. There is history between Jake Roberts and Sting. When Jake Roberts left WWE, he went to WCW, immediately went after Sting, DDTing him on the concrete floor. They had a very infamous match at Halloween Havoc 1992, Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal, which resulted in a coal miner's glove match, the finish of which was Jake Roberts going for the snake and trying to get it to attack Sting. But Sting did something that basically led to, but Sting punched him. I believe he got the coal miner's glove. Sting punched Jake. The snake then bit Jake. He collapses with the snake on top, and Sting pins him for the finish.
Great.
It sounds a lot better than it looked. But and that match wasn't particularly good. Jake was off his head. And as someone, listen, I've been DDT'd by Jake the Snake Roberts. I've worked with Jake. I've trained with Jake. I've seen Jake, when he's able to be cohesive and really go through things. And I've seen Jake when he's boarded himself up in the corner and you know what's going on. That is not the Jake that exists now. No. So the idea that we're going to have, the possibility of Jake cutting some promos and Sting, nostalgia boy is very happy right now.
Cool.
How that translates to the 18 to 34-year-olds, I don't know. But the 34 or 35 to 48-year-olds, which I'm just now basically in the bracket of, I can tell you we're very excited.
There we go. Yes, I don't mind that. My issue is the Archer thing. I feel like he's been really pushed recently, and I think that the Sting thing, you can have the gentleman's agreement thing, but it just feels, I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking, maybe I just need to let it play out. Just let it play out and see where it goes. I'm not convinced it'll work, though, and I have concerns about it. Backstage, QT Marshall and Lee Johnson, they were cut off by Ethan Page's music. Ethan Page comes out and has a match with Lee Johnson with QT Marshall.
This is the match that had all the TNT sound effects in for people watching on TNT.
Right, okay, there we go. So that'll be a TNT issue, though, as opposed to the broadcast. We was watching it on Fight and didn't have any of them issues. Yeah.
No.
Page
and apparently those issues went also right through the commercial break. So TNT are also going to have a lot of angry advertisers to deal with also.
Oh, really? Jesus. This was a decent match. The two worked well. I still don't feel like I've seen enough of Ethan Page. I've not seen him in Impact as much.
Sorry, I'm trying to find my jelly babies.
Well, understandable, man. I mean, that's priorities. Absolute priorities.
I've got the priorities for a live stream.
Ethan Page ends up defeating Lee Johnson with an awesome looking, Razor's Edge, to call it something.
Yeah,
weird.
Showcase match for Ethan Page, who looked good.
Yeah, and Lee Johnson looked really good as well, and they've done a story with him. He's been really solid on Dark. He had a great match with Ben Carter before he sort of went with NXT UK, that main evented Dark or something like that, and it was like, we're showcasing the two awesome guys right now, the future of our brand, maybe. Ended up not being. So yeah, a decent match. QT Marshall ends up walking away. Cody Rhodes comes down, supports Lee Johnson in the ring. So we're getting a continuation of that, where QT Marshall steps out of the ring and steps away from the Nightmare family.
Mm-hmm.
Even the sort of lower card, whatever.
They've got some things going on.
They've got stories going on.
And I think what we're going to see is QT Marshall and Nick Comoroto. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I think we're going to see them break off and be their own thing.
Okay, cool. That'll be interesting, man. Alex Marvez comes on, interviews Adam Page on a lawnmower. It was bizarre.
Cool with it.
Yeah, he's having a good time, drinking whiskey while mowing the lawn. The Dark Order come on, and they all have a ride on a lawnmower. I think there was a lawnmower reference when Brody was around. All gone.
Yeah.
Life is bad, man. Life is bad. Alan Angels couldn't fit, so he was left behind. After that, we get the... what else did we get? Have a look. Sorry. Kenny Omega comes out with the King of the
I have
Death
another
match.
bag.
Hey, they're breeding.
Life is okay.
They're breeding. Kenny Omega comes out. He's basically talking about the death match. Basically, we hit into it earlier. It says about that it didn't matter if the bombs didn't go off, because if they went off and Moxley was blood and pieces, then it would have been great. But even better might have been disappointing all of you idiots.
And also humiliating them.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
because of this moments of bravery, they ended up looking like idiots.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Yeah. There was a 69 that Don Callis delivered to Kenny Omega, and
vicious 69.
How part of the review, I guess.
Yeah.
Kingston come out. Slight thing with this segment. I thought Kingston was out there maybe a little too long before Moxley saved.
Maybe. Yeah. Wouldn't argue.
Yeah.
Why didn't they come down together is the other thing. But then, one can argue that, hey, Kingston's kind of character is like, no, hold up, brother, I got this.
Yeah.
Let me do my thing.
Yeah. Then Moxley comes out. I thought it was hilarious when the countdown timer started, Dan, and that's when they did the 69 thing. That was freaking hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
That was freaking hilarious. Then we get Christian coming out basically to save the day with his countdown timer going
Well, he
off.
never made a save. He just walked out, slowly.
Yeah.
And then they had their face off, and then, Kenny went for the strike, and ridiculous in their expectation. Not just ridiculous in their expectation, but ridiculous in how they view Christian.
Yeah. Well, he is great, so I don't understand what the issue is. And people wanted him to have a chance in WWE for years. He gets a chance, and now it's just weird.
I know, right? Like, remember the day when Christian won the World Heavyweight Championship?
Yeah.
Remember how he lost the title just 2 nights later on SmackDown?
Mm-hmm.
And remember the uproar from the internet. Christian deserved a shot. Christian deserves the opportunity. And he never got it. I remember when he won the title back from Randy Orton. It was by disqualification.
Right.
And again, everyone was in uproar. Oh, they're not giving him. And of course, the second they were in a match together again, what happened? Randy Orton wins clean.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was Christian's brush with greatness of the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
People want to... That is worse than the Miz in the treatment there, okay? Now, exactly as you say, and we're getting the opportunity. Yes, he's 47 years old, but this is a guy that hasn't wrestled for a number of years. He was iced for the same reason as Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan has been back now for over a good couple of years now with not a single issue. And hopefully the same will be for Christian. Christian's body is going to have been recovered. Christian will hopefully still be able to go. We're going to find out, because if you can't go with Kenny Omega, we're going to know. But the bottom line is you're getting an opportunity to see Christian in a position that however many years ago you were furious that he never got the opportunity to be in.
Yeah. So there we go, and we'll see where that goes. When he came
back from TNA, what did WWE reward him with? Where was his big return? The ECW brand. Saturdays at 12:05. That is what they rewarded him with. Like, the big return of Christian was that. That is the level that WWE viewed him at. Disrespectful, in my opinion.
To say the least, yeah, absolutely. I can definitely agree with that, Dan. Then we had, what did we have next? Sorry.
We had the women's trios match.
Yeah, Maki, Itoh, Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, Thunder Rosa, Hikaru, Shida, and Ryo Mizunami. Yeah,
it was a fine match. Not a good to great match, but it was a fine match. But a hell of a vicious finisher.
Yeah, Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, that was like a very. It wasn't the normal Fire Thunder driver that I remember. I don't think I've seen her do it quite like that. But it looked incredible.
It really did, yeah.
Like, you want to talk about what a finisher looks like. That is what a finisher looks like. And it looked unique as well. It didn't look like a version of a move that other people do on the show. It looked like that is Thunder Rosa's own move. Because here's a very important thing. A wrestling move is a physical catchphrase. And that is why it's important that nobody else does what you do or something similar to what you do. And nobody does quite like the variation that Thunder Rosa did tonight. And that was a hell of a finish. Maki Itoh looked fantastic, completely in her own world, singing a song at the start while there's a fight breaking out in the middle of the ring.
I do feel like this was AEW's showcase for Maki Itoh and letting her know what I think that was the most important part of the match, actually, in terms of getting the audience used to her and that sort of bizarreness that she is.
Well, I wonder if she's, going back to Japan for a few weeks, and that's why she took the fall.
Right.
But at the same time, her character, as I said, it's not, don't watch Maki Itoh expecting Io Shirai because it's very, very different. And I don't just mean, like the personalities, but the in-ring, there's a difference there, but it doesn't make sense for Maki Itoh's character either to wrestle like someone like Io Shirai. Everything she does suits the character. And so if anyone can actually take the pin, realistically, out of Britt, Nyla, and Maki, yeah, I can see why it's going to be Maki. I'd probably, would I have made the same call? Possibly yes, possibly no.
Well, it's built into the Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa ultimately as well. So...
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying I'd have had Britt or Nyla win. I'm just saying maybe I'd have added a fourth person and made it 4-4. But the group is what it is. The fact of the matter is, it's it was a fine match. It did its job. And we now know that next week what our main event is. If I could say one thing, if I can make one extra thing, I would have had the angle at the end. I don't think was strong enough.
I agree.
Match.
I agree completely. Yeah, I agree. Not a lot else to say, Dan. I was going to say exactly the same thing myself. Yeah, the Scorpio Sky makes his entrance. Oh, we get Matt Hardy and his crew are going after Dark Order with Private Party and now the Butcher and the Blade.
Yep. So there we go. Butcher, Blade, and the Bunny, who he said he's signed him for so much money they're not even going to notice his retainer, and which seemed to really frustrate Private Party, that's their story.
Yeah.
So,
makes sense. Carries on.
Exactly. And it's good as well. We now know that the Matt Hardy, or at least we seem to get the impression that the Matt Hardy, Adam Page thing is done, which I'm happy with. They had their story. It ended. Adam Page moves on. Matt Hardy moves on.
Rock and roll. Then we have our last match of the evening, Darby Allin versus Scorpio Sky for the TNT Championship. Brilliant match.
Yeah, very good.
Brilliant.
Very good.
A different...
Very cool. There's a lot of counters, really cool counters, catches, sequences. Allin basically was killing himself. There was the suicide dive into a cutter, which nobody could have seen coming. There was and there's nice, cool details as well. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, the story that these two men told in the ring was outstanding from the leg injury that we saw without going into that and stuff, but then little moments of the match calling back to it as well as the ending of the match calling back to it. Really well put together, but the thing that I most enjoyed about it was the scrappiness of it, not in sort of a brawling sense, but in terms of attitude. I'm going to really sort of try and pull at you and get ahead of you. This wasn't a technical wrestling ring match, but at the same point there was doing stuff like that on the floor, but it was messy and chaotic, and actually it was brilliant for that in itself. It was supposed to be that,
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yep.
Then we get the... Sorry? In a second.
No, I was going to say, and then of course we had, with the heel turn basically for Scorpio Sky as well. A lot of TV time. A lot of TV time coming for Scorpio Sky.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed, because if he puts on matches like this, I'm down for it, man. Give me TV time.
Totally.
Inner Circle, War Council is next. Basically, they come out, they do the thing. MJF says, look, we've got a plan. We get Sammy Guevara, who reveals the footage of the plan, and that's MJF talking backstage to the rest of the Inner Circle and agreeing to kick Jericho out. MJF reveals that it's time to kick Jericho out. I just feel like these moments could have been a little bit bigger. I don't know what was missing. There was something there.
Felt that like it wasn't quite disconnected. It wasn't quite connecting. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was some of the things that happened in the ring. But something did feel a tad off at the same time. No, I'm cool with what we got. I'm still excited as what we're going to get in the future. I think maybe the angle went too long. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Maybe
something. something felt a little off
Mhm.
to me anyway. But I still think, and at the end of the day, I can't explain what it is. But most of the time you can't because you're not the writers, you're not the director, you're not the work person putting it down. But whatever it was, something felt a tad off.
Mhm.
But only once they started fighting.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'd say even the reveal of MJF saying "This is you," it felt like there wasn't a punctuation on it. On him saying "We're kicking you out of the inner circle," it felt like there should have been some sort of punctuation. I'm not saying a fight, but even in the sort of delivery, it felt a little bit.
I don't know. I disagree personally because the whole thing was him saying, "I'll get him, boys," and then going, and then of course them turning around and
Which I love.
Jericho doing that. Do you not think that we talk? Which
Yeah.
I love that thing because it really does expose WWE's whole. Nobody knows what happens on WWE.
Yeah.
What, none of you cunts fucking record the show.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
none of you are watching it.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! You know it's bad when your own talent won't watch the show. Like, come on.
Yeah, well, I just feel like there should have been more. There should have been a higher point for MJF for a bigger fall. Is the point I wanted, but fair enough. Then obviously MJF says before getting attacked, he says, "Well, actually, I've been." Knowing that this is coming myself, and pulls a swerve back on them, and he's basically joined forces with the Four Horsemen: Tully Blanchard, FTR, Sean Spears with Wardlow.
Unofficial Four Horsemen.
Yeah, an unofficial Four Horsemen, absolutely. Which I think is great. I think that's exciting. But then the brawl.
Where's Arn Anderson coming to this? Arn appeared on last week.
He did.
And come out and looked at Tully, Sean Spears, and FTR.
And Tully was getting very involved in this beatdown as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tully's doing the whole thing. But hey, again, Nostalgia Dan is, happy to see this.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think
because
Arn's
he
going to join
still
in the
runs
circle?
away and cowers at the right time. So he never does it in a way to,
Maybe you have that as a thing, Dan. Maybe you have the inner circle lose the first big thing to the Horsemen, and then you have Arn come and become the thing that trains up the inner circle to beat them.
Well, and then the issue there is though the Nightmare Family and whatever it is, there's a lot of things going on right now, and there's a lot of directions that things can go, which is very interesting, and it's cool because I like things that are interesting.
Absolutely,
it keeps me watching.
That's what we speculate about on the podcast, brothers and sisters. And that was it. Wardlow eventually put him through the table. There was a spike dart
off the stage, powerbomb through the table. And...
Yeah, the diamond ring punch, which was the sort of major point, didn't
which
work.
Caused the blood.
Yeah,
and the white shirt, which didn't actually get that covered, but it was like we got the blade job, we got the heat. I'm still here for it, and I think we're going to get some exciting. Look, we're going to get Santana and Ortiz via FTR.
Yeah, great.
Like, that's going to be so good.
Certainly will.
That's going to be so good. I don't need Hager and Wardlow again, but I'm sure we're going to get some form of it.
Yeah.
Although I will say Hager and Wardlow, like, if they had I don't remember how long the match went, but if they had a 12-minute match, the first 10 wasn't the best, but the last 2 was fine.
Yeah.
But so I'm still here though. Right? That was a very fast 2 hours of TV.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And we've just done an hour review, and it still feels like there's more we could talk about.
Yeah. Well, next week on Dynamite, which had a name. What was the name? St. Patrick's Day Slam or something? Was it?
I think so. Yeah.
Like we got Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston versus the Good Brothers, which is incredible, right? That's not the main event, but so next week's show is very loaded.
Absolutely.
Moxley and Kingston versus the Good Brothers. Cody Rhodes versus Penta El Zero Miedo. Jurassic Express and Bear Country versus Matt Hardy. Private Party, The Butcher and the Blade.
Yep.
Jade Cargill in action as well. So guess what, guys? That means that we've got 2 women's matches, although Jade Cargill's match, I'm sure, will be 30 seconds to a minute.
Probably.
Which is fine. That's, look at her. That's kind of like the story that you're going to be telling with someone like her. And then the main event, and then it did say lights out match, correct?
Yes.
I'm not misremembering.
No, I'm sure it did. Yeah, no, because I did the same. So unless we've just made it up in our head, but yeah, I did exactly the same.
Yeah, so we got lights out. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Thunder Rosa, and that is your main event. That is a loaded lineup.
It really is.
Cody and Penta, Moxley and Eddie versus the Good Brothers, and then like Britt and Thunder Rosa in the main event in a lights out match. And then we've got, the supporting cast of Jade Cargill. What kind of numbers is Jade Cargill going to do? What kind of interest in there is Jade Cargill following the Shaq match? I'm very interested to see what that means. Will there be any kind of follow-up? What is next for Jade Cargill? Because here's the thing. She's very new still, very young, very green to the wrestling business. You need to be careful about who she's going to be in the ring with. All that just really needs to be well rehearsed. Regardless, what is next for Jade Cargill? And of course, Jurassic Express, that'll be all 3 members and Bear Country versus Matt Hardy, Butcher and the Blade and Private Party. And you know what? Something about Bear Country versus the Butcher and the Blade.
Be great.
Yeah, give me some big meat wrestling there.
Yeah, big meat wrestling.
Yeah,
you should do a promo with
some meat.
You should do a promo with Don Callis and Kenny Omega at the minute. The way. Very cool,
we got
guys.
Some numbers for the people that in the chat are saying they give it like 7.5 out of 10.
Well, we normally do it on Gimme Hell Yeah. We do out of 10, but it's entirely up to you whether you want to do that. I know it's not your style normally, but I normally give it an out of 10 rating. So we'd normally do so show out of 10 for me. It'd be an 8, a thoroughly enjoyable show, pass the time quickly, and I enjoyed it. Or 8 to 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, if we're talking like from a weekly perspective and not like as a standalone like wrestling show, even though, to be honest with you, there were some incredible matches on there. Yeah,
absolutely.
If you took us back a few years and this was a pay-per-view that had this level of wrestling, that featured like the opener and then of course the Scorpio Sky match, I think one would be very happy.
Agreed.
I would say that as a pay-per-view, as a weekly TV show, that was very, very quick. That was 2 very fast hours. 2 hours I was entertained. I'd say absolutely. I'd agree with that.
Cool. And then we'd normally say best match, which would be the Darby Allin Scorpio Sky. Yeah, it's a very difficult thing for me to do when it comes to weekly TV things, because everything has different places to go. I don't know, because here's the thing. I would put the Fenix match on the same path, on the same level as the Scorpio Sky match. They were very different matches. One had a lot more action than the other, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it kind of felt like the Fenix match went a bit longer. It went a long time. It went. Well, I don't know, because that felt like it went 15 minutes. But maybe
they both went about the same.
Yeah, I think so.
But they were very different. Very different matches.
Very different.
But I feel that they both achieved their goals.
Yeah. I think maybe for me, it's just excited to see Alan in a singles match again. I mean,
you know what? Yeah,
it feels maybe
good that he's away from the Team Taz thing.
Yeah. And sometimes that can be all it takes to have that spot. So
yeah, so I don't know what I thought was the best match, but I absolutely would say if you did not watch, if you've joined us for this review portion of the show, maybe you watched NXT tonight and you're like, is it worth checking out Dynamite? The answer is absolutely. If you're going to say, well, look, I only really have time to watch a couple of matches, is there anything that I should watch? The answer is absolutely. The show was bookended wonderfully. Give was it Nick Jackson?
Phoenix and Matt Jackson.
Matt Jackson and Phoenix match a watch, and also check out the Scorpio Sky versus Darby Allin match as well.
Cool. We'd also do favorite performer normally. I'd go with Darby Allin. I know that this is something that you might not be as comfortable with.
Yeah, no, it's very difficult to kind of do a favorite performer. I thought everyone performed for the most part. Yeah, I don't even think I can think of anyone. Even QT Marshall had a very small part of the show, but I thought he did a fantastic. If I was to actually, there's something else I would actually add on. Absolutely check out the promo with Moxley and Kingston.
Yeah,
backstage, their chemistry was phenomenal, and I had little kind of. Let me tell you how good their chemistry was. I had flashbacks to DX when they were first doing their skits back in '97.
Really,
it was really good. It was really natural. Fluid. I got the impression, I believe that these two are real life friends, and that was the thing that came through when you were watching Triple H and Shawn Michaels all the way back in '97 and '98. Is you believed that those two were friends, and the level of chemistry they had was very different to a number of the other teams or individuals that would be put on your screens and be, challenge to one another. There certainly is nobody on any other TV shows that seem to have the level of chemistry now that Sheamus and Drew McIntyre are separated. But even then, they were reading words. And most of the time when they actually showed that real-life chemistry, it was on, things like The Bump or anything along those lines where it wasn't as scripted heavily for a TV and they were able to show elements of themselves. So, yeah, go out of your way to watch that promo as well.
There you go. An old one we used to do quite a lot of. Holy Chip moment of the evening. Holy Chip, because that's what people chant. People like potatoes.
Right. Okay. Well, tell me what your Holy Chip moment of the night was.
The coffin drop into the powerbomb. I thought that was outstanding.
Yeah, fantastic counter that was.
Yeah. So smooth.
I mean, the thing is, there was tons of Holy Chip moments in the Fenix Jackson match as well. But man, I really dug that variation of Thunder Rosa's Fire Thunder Driver. I went on and on about it already, but that was a finish. That was a unique finish, and I was big on that.
There we go. Rock and roll. A few more comments. I'm going to put a set of nipples up. If you've never played the nipples game before, there will be a set of nipples up on the screen in a second. If you can guess whose nipples they are, you will win a love poem from me and Dan. We are doing a joint love poem this evening. One verse.
A joint love.
Yeah, hell yeah. It'll work. Who knows? So yeah, name the performer, full name only, and you can get the point. Enjoy. And we'll do the rest of the comments.
What if I get it right? Do you just
then you don't have to do the secret stream.
All right, is that
yeah, you can go to bed a little bit earlier. How about that? Back home, thank you, Jeff. Jeff just got back home and wants to summarize his point. They had a pre-taped women's match involving a good deal of blood. They didn't pull it and received zero cultural backlash as a result. Yes, hopefully, I think they're fine to do whatever. The problem is, Jeff, if you have two girls crawling through glass to get to the ring rope, so take out Moxley and Omega and put the ladies in that, would there be cultural backlash for that? Because that's our expectations. I get exactly what you're saying, Jeff, and I think you raised some interesting points and interesting discussion, but that's the question. Is that the same as the broken nose? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sasha is incredible. Jake, boo. Sasha is the greatest of all time. Jeremy, you're on my team. You were my guy. This is the perfect match for you to win, says Jenna. I win every match. I'm undefeated. It's my contract. Joey Bellbottoms, I agree with what you're saying about being done with the Chuck Miro Butler angle. Yeah, I really don't like that. When I saw they were carrying it on, I was like... Ugh.
Got what angle?
Carrying on the Chuck Miro...
Yeah. It would have been nice to have. I can see why they haven't done it. Just is what it is, Yeah.
Jeremy, nobody's got it yet. You can have as many guesses as you want, guys. It's only really Jeremy guessing. Jeremy's going to win this. For me, 7.5. That's cool.
Is it Brian Myers?
Brian Myers, incorrect. Damn. Brian Myers as in...
The Zack Ryder's tag partner.
Kurt Hawkins. No, it's not. LOL 420. Light Train. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's gone on a bit. Nips Game. Yeah, you've got it. Joe Mama. Who beats Darby? Oh, good question. Dan?
Scorpio Sky, maybe. Need a, but then we've got... Then the thing about that is we've got a heel champion. So maybe they don't. Maybe they won't want to have two heel champions. As WWE's normal thing is, if the world champions are heel, then usually the babyface is the Intercontinental or the US. They may change it a couple of times, a little bit around, but
you've got face, women, and tag at the minute as well. Maybe now would be the right time to do it. Maybe. And then get it onto Sammy. That'd be good. Sammy would be a good one with it. Mm-hmm. That's what I'd like to see. Maybe take it Sammy or Jungle Boy.
Yeah, maybe. It's a weird one. Like, where does Scorpio Sky kind of go after this if he doesn't win the title? Mm-hmm. But then where does Darby Allin go? That's the thing. There's only so many slots available on TV.
Mm-hmm.
So, where do things go? Just while the nipples game's going on, if no one's got it, tonight on NXT, they did reveal the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship belts. I'm a little bit like, I
thought the tag team championship belts could go across brands anyway.
Yeah, they could, but it is what it is. This is another reason why I'm not a fan of it, because they don't do a decent enough job with that women's tag team titles on Raw. One of the things that was kind of very good was the fact that they could go across all three brands. Not that they ever really made enough of a use of it anyway, but now NXT has got its own women's tag team champions. They started off by presenting the belts to Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez before they dropped the titles to Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart at the end. So we've already seen a title change as part of NXT tonight.
Oh, really?
Wow. Yeah.
Jesus.
And in addition, the other game-changing announcement was not that NXT is moving to Tuesdays. Instead, that it was that TakeOver this year, this was a rumor that had already been out, is going to be 2 nights, a Wednesday and a Thursday, the same week of WrestleMania. So you got Wednesday TakeOver, Thursday TakeOver, Friday Friday SmackDown. When's Hall of Fame? Because SmackDown's on the Friday, Saturday is WrestleMania, and Sunday is WrestleMania.
Oh, it's on the network anyway, so they can put it at any time they want, I guess. It'll be during one of the takeover shows, I bet you. It'll be prior to one of the
doing it. They've
shows.
got they've got 2 classes to go through this year. So
maybe it'll be Monday, Tuesday. I don't know. I really don't care. Tuesday,
maybe it is. Maybe the Hall of Fame will be on the Tuesday
and Wednesday, and then you're hoping to try and drag something away from...
Tuesday, because Monday Night Raw, Tuesday Hall of Fame, Wednesday TakeOver, Thursday TakeOver, Friday SmackDown, Saturday WrestleMania, Sunday WrestleMania. Kill me.
A lot of wrestling, isn't it?
That is a lot
of wrestling.
The other thing is Jordan Devlin is scheduled for NXT next week.
Ooh.
And they're now doing the storyline of Devlin as the Cruiserweight champion.
Real Cruiserweight. Yeah, they did a good job with that one on NXT UK though. Guys, none of you got it. I don't know whether to just call it, because none of you got it.
I would call it and say that, no one gets a poem.
Jesus.
I know, right? Sorry, guys.
Disappointing, eh? Disappointing. But it is 4:20 in the morning, and I've got to let it down go at some point.
Well, I'm the one that keeps you. Your streams normally end a lot earlier when I'm not on.
It's all good. There will be ending early. I promise you, they'll be ending early next week.
Also, Io Shirai did retain the NXT Women's Championship against Toni Storm.
I'm calling it. No one got it. Sorry.
And Storm tapped out as well.
We need a hint.
No, you don't.
You're not having a hint this time. You can have it next time, Jeremy.
Yeah, there's no hints. We don't do hints.
Unless Jeremy says that I'll drop a hint.
Let me tell you something. The hint was the nips. That was the hint.
Jeremy, unless you turn a corner with AEW, you're not getting what you want.
Tonight's NXT was actually very women's wrestling heavy. It started out with Io Shirai and Toni Storm. Then we had Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. We had the announcement of the tag champions, and then Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart defeating Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Before we got Xia Li against Kaden Carter, via DQ, which was a disqualification finish. Not a very long match, but nonetheless it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then Finn Balor defeated Adam Cole in the main event.
Ooh.
So, NXT presented a very loaded show tonight with a lot of things going on. And next week's NXT features Dexter Lumis versus Austin Theory, Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Leon Ruff, the in-ring debut of LA Knight, who was in Impact previously, and I've forgotten his name that he was under. Also, I already said it, we'll see Jordan Devlin next week as well.
There we go. I do feel cruel not giving him it. We're all begging for it in chat.
No, tough.
You can have it, but you can either have it now or we use it next week, dudes.
Yes, you got time. You got plenty of time.
You have. There you go. You can go back and watch a live stream, and you can observe them nipples. Observe them nipples. Put them against photos of your favorite wrestlers from the past. Enlarge them. Get me up on your 14-inch monitor.
Gorge nipples.
Yeah. And bless Jeremy. He's even said AEW is better than WWE. Oh, rock and rolls, guys. Joey, we'll do it next week, man. Just remind me to do it next week. Dudes, you guys freaking rock. Thank you so much for joining us. Dan, it's been wonderful having you. Please check out Dan's YouTube channel. It is Eve.
No.
What?
Just
I
read
just said
what's
Eve.
on the screen.
Yes, but I don't normally see the screen, you prick. It is Pro Wrestling Eve, so go and check them out. Outstanding, and they're also getting a rebranding soon as well. I know it's coming very soon.
Yes, the YouTube channel's getting a rebranding. It'll still be Eve,
not the Eve,
the rest
which means you're going to get more content, more stuff, and do check out their online subscription service. All the links are in the description below. Dan, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining me.
No, pleasure.
I will see.
We need to try to find a way to get through this by 3:30, though.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
We'll see what happens. Bye.
Bye,
Oh yeah, we do a countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh
yeah.
This is Broken Matt Hardy. Thank you for watching the Gimme a Whole Year Wrestling Podcast.
Hello, and we're back on the secret stream, of course. I'm going to put a link in the description, which is our friends at the Wrestle Story, our favourite wrestling podcast that isn't either of us, because we love ourselves. Please, after our secret stream, go and check them out. Dan, what do you want to talk about quickly?
How about a horse's handbrake?
Let's talk about it.
A horse's handbrake is also known as a diamond cutter, but not the move. Could anyone guess what that would be there for? This is Gimme a Whole Year After Dark, by the way.
Oh, what? Oh, right. Okay. So
a horse's handbrake, also known as a diamond cutter, a concrete donkey.
It's got to be some sex toy.
Not necessarily a toy, but definitely related. By the way, if you're joining us for the first time right now, thanks so much. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and ring that bell. You'll hear plenty of different
wrestling
kind of phrases.
content.
You got a horse's handbrake, also known as a diamond cutter. Can you guess what that is? Come on, everyone. Horse's handbrake, also known as a diamond cutter. You're just going to Google it, aren't you?
Probably.
You're just gonna get. You're just
gonna. They can't Google Nips games. That's the advantage.
Yeah, that's the brilliant. You can't Google it. You know, like that is wonderful.
Let's see what people have said. Oh yeah, says Joey.
That's all it is. It's just yeah.
It is, yeah.
No one knows.
We did a really crap countdown. It was great. I loved it. Dom would be ashamed. I don't think anyone does. Dan, inform us, educate us. What is a horse's handbrake?
What was that person's name? In the series finale of WandaVision, the guy that played Quicksilver.
Is it Evan Peters?
What's his name? Like John Boner.
All right.
That was him. So, yeah, there we go. That is a horse's handbrake.
Just a boner?
Yeah.
Just an erection? This is not...
No, no, not any kind.
A horse's erection?
No. You know, there are different levels, aren't there?
All right, yeah.
You know, there are ones like that first one.
Ciao.
You know, exactly.
Yeah.
That one. That one. The kind of thing that nearly makes you faint. That's how much blood flow has just been redirected. What about this one? Mandruff. What do you think Mandruff is?
Mandruff, it's got to be some sort of flaky substance on your scalp, or is it dried? Oh, is it dried?
Flakes of dried love piss found on one wife's head and shoulders.
At least he said head and shoulders and not underneath the foreskin. That's it, guys. Thanks very much for joining us. Take it easy. Go watch the Wrestle Story. I'll put the link in the description. Bye.
That's a lot more wholesome. Don't take this content to the Wrestle Story.
No, don't. Just say,
all right.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My, isn't the weather wonderful? I love jam.
Yeah, talk about the weather.
Talk about the weather. Sandwiches.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
This is Broken Matt Hardy. Thank you for watching the Gimme a Whole Year Wrestling Podcast.